Check it out, check it out, check it out. This is episode 21 of the Social Critics podcast.
Yeah.
Social Critics, name change, you don't get it. But your hosts, Driss, Bashir, Curtis, Alpha, and Sumi. What's up, y'all? How you doing?
Hello.
Hey guys.
How was everybody's week?
Oh, man. It was awesome. It was
nice.
awesome. I had me a decent week.
We made some babies. No, I'm just kidding.
Me and Seth went to this little dope little gallery joint last night. And
How was that?
Arts and Bars. Oh, damn. I can't remember the name of the place. It was dope.
Where was this
super
at?
Dope. Next to Two Truths.
Was it like a gallery hop kind of thing?
Yeah. It was like our first gallery showing. They had some dope art, man.
Was it? I'm sorry to cut you off. Is that the one where Seth had his pictures like hung up?
No, Two Truths is where he got his pictures.
Seth is actually.
It was a gallery next to
Did you hear about his upcoming thing? I don't want to talk about it if we can't talk about
Oh, yeah. Mouth Mac?
Not Mouth Mag. Hilton.
Pause.
Let's not speak on it because I don't know.
Yeah,
He's
might
just
not
doing
want it
good
out
things.
there.
He's doing good
Yeah.
things.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out.
Seth clicking out there.
Yeah.
But when I was in the gym, I was just saying this earlier, bro, like, not to get deep, but I was just like, bruh, I've literally surrounded myself with creatives. That's what I always wanted to do.
You did it.
And it's so easy.
But look how quickly this is within the last 6-7 months.
Yeah, bro. And it's so if you just say, like, I'm done fucking with regular, well, not regular people, but just
Mundane.
people. Yeah, like people just,
Mundane.
bro. I've always been such a creative person since I was young, like firing out ideas, and some people just don't have. I feel bad for them.
And you realize though, like when everybody is in a creative space, it brings out the creativity out of people who didn't know they were creative.
And
Yes, bro.
positivity too.
Oh,
I feel like
Yes.
I've done a good job even in the past 2 years eliminating negative people other than family. You can't get rid of. But side note.
You can get rid of family if you really wanted to. Yeah.
I've learned how to drop anybody, bro. If you ain't progressive for me or whatever plans I got, ghost.
But that's maturing, letting go of negative people.
And it's no disrespect either. It's just like people grow. And whoa, that sounded weird. Yeah, I'm still going.
Not all of us grow vertically. We don't always grow
Apparently,
vertically.
I haven't hit puberty yet, so I got a lot of growing to do. But people grow and they, you separate. It's all love.
That's
but,
life, bro.
You gotta learn to adapt.
Have
to
you had
it.
that conversation like, yo, why don't you hit me up no more?
No.
With a friend?
No.
Like, y'all talk about like growing out of these negative people.
I think that was more of a
But
high
it's like-
school thing.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those
No,
things
what
that
happened?
fades out though. Like
Yeah.
you're just on the same page where you just lose.
You're just mature enough to be like, yeah,
It's
we're not friends
happening
no
now,
more.
bro. Like, I don't know, man. My mindset, it seemed like my mindset is changing faster, like every time. It's like,
What do you
it's
mean?
hard to explain. Because, usually when you like 21 or 25, you just kind of set on doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now that I'm turning 26, it's like, boom, my life changing in this way. 27, boom, my life changing in it. Like, it's moving faster. So I'm cutting off people, not in a bad way, but it's like, man, the way my mind is, I'm moving different. So I need these type of people around
We
me.
said
now.
this last week. This is the time to be selfish.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
selfish is not a bad thing. It gets it has a negative connotation, but no. Being selfish and working on yourself, ultimately that's when you're going to be able to be a better person around other people.
Facts.
When you start working on yourself.
And
Super facts.
also like the time, like this time of our lives, the decisions that we make are the most important. You know what I'm saying?
man.
You can't just be one of those niggas that just get cooped up in the house, have a 9 to 5 every day, don't do anything outside of that.
It drives me
You know what I'm saying?
crazy.
Like,
But you got to look at the way the world is going. Like people switch jobs regularly. People have 2 or 3 sources of income. Like it's not 1975 anymore where you work at some place for 40 years and then you get a pension and all that shit.
No, honestly,
just
like,
change it, bro.
Honestly,
Like,
it's
you gotta
like when you're unhappy, like you got to do something about it at this age.
have
Unless you're just
to,
going
bro.
to be
Yeah,
stuck.
That's genius, bro.
Yeah.
You have to do something about it at this age. Like when you man, when you young, you don't really know that you unhappy.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
you might be like
Sad.
stuck or like, man, what's going on? But when you get older, you like, I'm just not happy with my situation. So you just switch it the fuck up.
I always love. We could talk about this type of shit for like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, but we do have regular topics to get to.
I mean, tell about your rest of your weeks. I only said mine.
My week was cool. I'm still sober.
Yeah.
You know, I know it seemed like I was.
Rockstar
It seemed. Shit. Whoa. Shit. Yeah. No.
Orange
Oh
juice
God
promotion
damn.
We got all types of promotions.
It's like grab this man a koozie.
Yeah, but yeah, you know.
How is sobriety
Well,
for
you know,
you?
last weekend, and I was telling you guys and even other friends of mine, like being out sober, it's a different dynamic, but it was still fun. I had a good time. You know, you people watch a little bit more, and you're like, wow, that chick is sweating that dude over there. She stared at him for like the last 20 seconds. Like that dude has been staring at that girl's ass for like 15 seconds. You know what I'm saying? You people out more shit, but I had a great time, you know, and
You catch people in their element when they drunk because
Yeah.
they don't know that you're watching them,
Oh,
so
yeah.
they just being them. Like,
Yeah.
But there is a time and place for it. Like certain bars, you can't go in sober.
Oh,
You
yeah.
literally
100%.
cannot be there
Yeah,
sober.
word
when
on
we
that.
went into the second, you remember we went to a specific bar that was really cool.
Oh,
We
the
went in-
second joint.
Yeah, the second joint.
Yeah.
I was like, it was cool, but
packed.
like, yeah, too crowded, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, this chick
it's
is
some
sloppy.
joints you gotta be drunk
Oh,
to,
yeah,
to
for
deal
sure.
with or have a buzz.
But enough about my week. You know, it was pretty cool, it was solid. How about everybody else's?
Well, it was Valentine's Day.
Hey,
Shit, that was one of the topics to
tweet,
tweet.
Yeah, we should talk.
Also, like, shout out to the girls that had their own little Valentine's Day show.
Oh
Valentine's Day.
yeah,
Check that out. I checked it out. It was nice.
I haven't even. I'm
I
gonna
checked
listen
it
to
out.
it this week.
I'll listen
We
to
did
it.
it pretty. It was actually kind of hard because we did it on our phones. Even the way we recorded it, it was
yeah.
kind of different.
really?
Was that on your phone?
Yeah.
It did sound a little echoey, but it was still nice. It was still clear.
Thanks
So what
to
did y'all
me.
just did a like recapping or what y'all?
No, we talked about. So some of the topics we kind of talked about was like romance and how every girl has a different idea of it.
Ooh,
And then
this
we
gonna-
talked
ooh, that's
about
gonna be good.
social media impeding on relationships. Like you see a girl post flowers. I fucking hate flowers, and Driss was not. To my core, I hate flowers.
Why do you have
I
something
don't like.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you flowers for your birthday.
Yeah.
Before they recorded this podcast, because you guys recorded last week, right?
Like
It
yeah,
was it Monday?
Monday,
Monday.
something
Was
like
that
that.
Monday.
Yeah.
Did you know what you were gonna do for Valentine's Day already?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
And it was exactly
Okay.
what I
This is a
said.
very planned out guy.
Sumi was on there like, I just want you to plan.
That's what
That's
I
all.
said.
That's all we care about as women. Just put the effort.
Oh,
in
you
and
listened
play.
to it?
I was listening
You
to
listened
it.
to it? Yeah, bro.
And I was thinking,
that's-
I was like, so Driss is just listening to this and knows exactly what to do now. For
So
Valentine's Day.
the
He
funny
can't get
part
in
about
trouble.
it, the funny part about it is that I actually I made reservations like 2 weeks in advance.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Fuck, this guy's
that was
on it.
nice.
Yeah.
Then.
Because he knows, like, I don't care to do anything. I'm not like a romance type person.
Yeah.
I like just him just doing something different.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I plan everything to a T, like with my day. And I'm just like, for one day, I just don't want to plan it. And he did it. And the best part was I was like, Cassie was like, I feel like you just want to watch like an action movie at the end of the day. We watched a Batman movie at the end of the day.
That's all about keeping it
that.
spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to keep it spicy,
What
bro.
was it? So we went to
Oh,
Rio.
Can we name restaurants? It was Rodizio
Was the
Grill.
restaurant good?
It was
That
so
you
good.
can
It's
shout
a
out?
Y'all
Brazilian
get the grilled
steakhouse.
pineapples?
Yes.
Yes. Oh
let me
my
explain
God.
this restaurant though.
Okay.
So
Oh, I've been there.
Be prepared to shit your brains
bro.
out.
So what they do is that you get seated and whatnot, and then they give you this like timer with the red side and the green side. Once you flip it to the green side,
They just keep coming.
yeah, they just keep coming, bro.
They
It's
just
like
on
a
like
gangbang.
sticks,
It's
they
like
come
an
on.
orgy of meat, bro. They just come.
Is
They
it like
just-
they just have a
Yeah.
meat on a
The
stick like
verbiage
this?
you use
Like,
there.
No,
is.
it's like it's a
It's
tall
huge.
stick,
And
yeah,
it's-
and they just take knives
It's
and
on
they
a
slice
shear.
it on
It's
your
on a big,
plate.
like,
yeah.
Bro.
And it's all these
So
different types of
how
meats.
quick are they coming when you put
Bro,
it on
I'm
the floor?
saying like every 15 seconds, another
Yeah.
nigga will be
Yeah.
there. And then there was one point where there was like 3 people like in a line waiting to like
get
service me. And I'm
overwhelmed.
just
I
like,
just
bro,
said
I
yes.
can't. Like, yes.
Yes.
They just kept
So how
serving
much
me.
meat
My
are
shit
they
on
going to
green.
detail them when?
We had it
Every
on
hole
green
was
for a
filled.
while.
Every hole, I'm just
All
joking.
right,
I'm done.
question.
Pause.
Money wise.
Well, y'all got to go to my fault. Y'all got to go to
Brazil joint?
That was good though.
Texas Day Brazil.
Yeah, that Brazil
Yeah,
joint.
and
It's like
Easton,
it's
at
like the
Easton.
way better version of Rodizio.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
heard they is that the place with like the
little bit
cheese
more
dips and
expensive,
stuff?
though.
They got
Yeah.
like
Fondue.
Ooh.
Fondue.
Now, how much for this meat?
It was like
It's-
No,
Well,
they
it's
have
all
it's a one
included.
dinner buffet kind of thing. So you
Okay.
get sides that
And
you
it's
go
good
up to
meat.
and your meat.
it was $39.99 per person.
Per person for the, and then just
Texas
And
is
then
like
all
then-
meat you want.
and then a salad bar. Like
Texas,
and you get a salad.
but it's like sides. You get
not bad.
sides.
Shit was
Texas Day
delicious,
Brazil is
though.
50.
Yeah.
What they lamb?
Yeah, we had
Fire.
lamb. Lamb was
lamb. They had bacon wrapped chicken. They had
Don't
Yeah,
eat
they
that
got
swine.
like over like 10 paws, 2 different meats, bro.
Bro, the fucked up part about it is like I was full, but then like they just announced what they were serving.
I
was
ain't
just
never
like,
full when I'm in there, bro.
You just got right better.
I was just like, damn. All right, I gotta
get it
try
hard.
this.
I
I
had to
gotta
try
try
it.
this. No,
But
it
I
was
mean,
cool.
the focus of the episode, and that's why, like, I wanted guys' opinions was I think guys always think that I always clarify that I don't speak on behalf of every girl because I think every girl's different, but it's just doing something different than you normally would. Like, I don't care for a present because it lasts. Half the time my presents are chocolate and they don't last very long. But to me, it's like, it's something different. It could be like you cooking the dinner. It doesn't have to be going out somewhere, but it's just doing something different. And that honestly means more than, oh, I sent you some flowers. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, what you say? You keep the relationship spicy. Well, and that's what it is. Like, you can't just get stuck into a pattern. If you get stuck into a pattern,
it's easy to do that when you're years deep. It's easy to get into a routine.
Yeah,
from
you don't want it.
How y'all go out, what y'all wear, shit, sex.
Yep.
You got to switch all that stuff up.
We talked about this once. Well, none of you guys were with us. It was me. It was me, Seth, Chris, and Boots, and we were talking about like how we saw some girls on social media who were single, kind of like, oh my God, I'm lonely again on this Valentine's Day. And we all said, we were like, bro, can y'all just let these people be happy on this one day out of the year? One day out of the year, can you let them be happy?
Yo, that's so real.
It's like, bro,
there was so negative. So much
I honestly
negativity
take
around
that personally
Valentine's Day.
because I don't think I'm a very PDA person, like in public, and I don't always like, but sometimes I'm just like, okay, but why do you care? Like, your birthday celebrated once a day. I don't fucking care that, oh my God, I'm 26 and I still need to do something extremely special.
Wild.
Like, you're
Bro,
26.
hey, I'm gonna be honest, yo,
Like,
if you're over the age of 25, I don't want to see you carrying around balloons.
You bugging.
Stop.
I just think there's people that
like,
are bitter.
Celebrator of anything. Like, I don't even really care about my birthday, bro.
I mean,
My family didn't celebrate my birthday.
Bro,
you know what I mean? My mom doesn't even remember my birthday.
I think dinner's cool.
I'm gonna send you something.
My mom be like that sometimes.
Bro, but yeah, I was just seeing these girls on there just like, I'm off of social media for today, or like, bye.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but you get to have certain days that celebrated for you.
Yo.
Sometimes couples have certain days,
Stop
and
being
I'm not
bitter.
against it. That's fine. It just I don't get why there's so much bitterness.
Unless you like are going through something where it's like
A breakup
your
or
husband died on Valentine's Day or something, or you got broken up on Valentine's Day last year.
What
Yeah.
an
I get
asshole.
it.
That'd be wild.
That would be so fun.
I get that, but like Valentine's Day, just
Yeah.
we don't want to hear the negativity.
Well, we
Let
also
them
talked
love.
about on the podcast, which was kind of interesting, like stupid Hallmark holidays, like Sweetest Day.
That's what
like,
it does.
and that's
See,
what,
but that's so
That's
unfair.
bullshit. Why is it
Sweetest Day?
Why
is
is it
like,
Valentine's Day for the guys?
Bullshit.
I just because
For
it's like
Valentine's
how
Day,
many
got this.
different times, how many different holidays you need to celebrate. You know what I mean? Like
But-
one is fine.
But Valentine's Day,
You know,
it's 80% for the girls.
Yeah.
It is, but
95.
but it's what you make of
Okay,
it.
95.
But it's what you make of it. Because here's my thing: I still get dressed something.
But that's what I'm saying. See,
Like,
y'all
it's
heavily
not-
like
My-
y'all
look,
are entwined.
I'll go off of my parents. My dad didn't do anything for my mom on Valentine's Day, but literally a week prior, my mom got a new fucking wedding ring.
What?
Like, yeah.
They do that?
Oh,
People
did
do that?
she change the stone? Is
Yeah,
that what it
some
was?
shit like that. My
Oh,
dad
that's
dropped
sweet.
a buku amount of money on that. But you know,
We were waiting for you to say the word.
yeah. His taxes came in, huh?
he owns his own
bank.
business, so
I know,
he
he's
loses
paying money. Yeah, he's paying money.
losing
Anyway.
money during tax time. But
He got money.
Little family
But
promotion.
that's no. But I'm saying my mom wasn't tripping because she was just like, I just got this like a week ago. My dad, like, they've been together so long. Who gives it's a
Yeah.
fucking one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and it's a stage thing. When y'all dating for the first year, Valentine's Day is like, boom.
That means something. The
5
first
years,
year.
it's like, all right, we can do something. 10 years,
Yeah.
it's like, go cook.
But-
like, girl, leave me alone.
But that's where we talked about the whole like. So there were two big topics that we also covered. Was I personally do not like the whole, oh my God, 3-month mark, 6-month mark, 1 year mark.
Yeah.
Oh my God, first time you ever saw me without makeup mark. Like there's literally a card
Yo,
or
I
mark
don't
for
think I would ever
everything.
be with a chick who
There's
was
a
like that.
milestone and it drives me crazy because there's so many firsts where I think back like, oh my God, when was the last
See,
time
the
or
thing is,
first
though,
time we did it?
There's
like,
a lot of firsts that you don't even think of. Like,
right.
Was the first time I
like,
sucked her
and here's
toes?
another first. Like, the first time you take a dookie at your girl's crib.
Yeah.
The first
The first time you fart.
I
The
feel like
first time you
the
fart
fart
in
is
front of each other.
the comfortability like stamp.
yeah.
Yeah.
And mine was big.
My roommate walked into the room and thought something fell. Like it was like actual
shit.
like.
Okay, so I like to poop. Yo, I like to poop,
Sipping
right?
his teeth.
I love to poop. Pooping is nice.
Pooping is nice.
It's healthy.
It was healthy.
It's
Yeah.
good for you.
I was at this girl's house
Oh God.
and I was embarrassed to poop, but I had to. It was like, you know, when I was walking up the stairs, I couldn't walk. Like I can't spread my legs
my
open.
God.
Like my
But
shit
you're
was
barely
I
made
had
it
to
up
go
here.
poop, bubbling. So
Oh,
I have to
okay.
go.
Yeah. It was bad. You had to go.
I
It's
had to
coming
go.
out. Right. We
Ran
get
into
it.
their bathroom. I turned her fan wasn't working like yours. So I turned, she's like, are you taking a bath? I'm like, shut up. I'm taking a bath. Yo, the poop was so nasty. And she went right after. Oh. She went in right after, like, I gotta go pee. I was like,
you can't. And if you turn the water on, you better make sure the water wasn't on hot or something.
It wasn't on hot.
You can't let it like.
But she was like, yo, you don't know how your heart drops when she walks right past you. Like, I was waiting for you. No.
What did you do? Did you stop her?
I just went to the bed and I just sat there. Hopefully she didn't say shit. She didn't say shit.
She didn't say nothing.
She knew.
Nah.
It's because she came out with
That's
the
the
stank
awkward
face.
part is Noah like,
My face got all hot and I'm like, oh god.
Did y'all still hook up or was y'all like?
Nah, we slept, bro. That was it.
I was about to say,
That was after.
God.
That was after Jones.
Oh my
So
god!
I think I laid it down.
My face got hot.
You know when your face gets like red? I mean, for black people, it's just hot. It gets hot. My face gets hot.
Oh my
get
god!
I'm sorry if
No, Drew's fucking dropped bombs over Baghdad the first time he pooped at my place.
She said bombs over Baghdad.
Shit, I was holding that shit.
But
then
that's
he
so
just
funny
walks
because
out and he
that's so
goes-
relatable.
But he just walked out and goes, "Yep," and that was it. That was the defining moment in our relationship because he just said, "Yep," and then everything after that was just not the same because we're like, "All right, well."
Stories are just-
When's the first time she farted next to you? In front of you?
I still to this
It
day.
was like so we got clearance like after like the third. Was it the second year?
Yeah, because I
2 years?
waited a long time.
said
I
clearance,
never had a
bro, like-
boyfriend before that, so I've
so
always
she
been
doesn't
like.
feel-
You were holding it down.
I was like, nope, because the minute
So
it
I was-
happens,
I'm not
it's
losing
like
this nigga.
when they look at you naked, when they just look at you in general, when you walk out of the bathroom, it's just always like a question mark above their head.
But that's how you. That was a big thing for me when I
2
first
years.
when I was young, bro. It was like I needed my girl needs to be like a girl. No, like a girl. Like I want her as a flower at all times.
Yeah.
But then as you get older, it's like
the fucking petals fall off
yeah,
and they wither
it's
away.
like yeah,
You wither away.
Yeah, it's like
Fart
you get
strips
that
a lot out of your
comfortability
sexy
thing.
character.
You get that comfortability, so then it's like
You don't get to have sex from behind
She's a
as
human.
easily anymore because it's
she's
scary.
a fucking human.
She is a human.
So
That's
when
what
you
it is.
first see a girl take a not see well
Oh,
some people do that.
no.
See a girl take a
No,
shit
no,
or
no.
fart, it's like you look different now, but that's what determines if I really fuck with you. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't give a fuck.
I mean,
Yeah.
but being comfortable is more important than having
Yes,
like
bro.
a flower.
Yeah.
Because then you go back to that like Bashir story. Once you get back into like the dating or dealing
my
with new
God.
chicks, you got to go all the way through again. Like, fuck, I got to fart, but I got to hold this shit for 6 more hours.
What do
is
you
that
do
called?
the
What
first
is
time
that
you had
called?
I
Taco
don't know
Bell
what
in
that
front
is
of
called.
somebody?
It's over.
What are you supposed to do when you had Taco Bell with somebody and you're like, oh,
And you know these drunk girls
God.
want to have Taco Bell at night. Tell me not the next morning I'm gonna start shitting.
That's the
Bro, I eat for
You
a
gonna
cer-
hear me shit.
I eat for a specific. I eat like certain meals at specific like occasions.
Yeah.
Like if I know I'm about to like meet up with this girl, I'm like, oh no, salad. Like because
Yeah.
if I eat something, shit gonna
But,
be crazy.
but when
later.
you
some
do eat
dairy.
healthy, then it's like, oh shit, which greens are the ones that are
Yeah.
going to actually be
Them
the
shit's gonna
ripest
run.
farts? I'm telling you, it's a science.
I don't fuck with
It's a
broccoli. Like if
science.
I'm about to fuck with a chick, I won't fuck with no
Broccoli
broccoli.
makes you
See?
fart.
Broccoli make you yes,
Same
hella
with,
fiber.
Yeah.
Same with apple juice for some reason.
Yeah, apple juice. Yeah,
But,
apples.
well,
Apples got a lot
one
of fiber.
last thing though from the episode I wanted to talk to you guys about too, because we did talk about it, was people when you celebrate Valentine's Day with somebody that you've just first started talking to. So like maybe you've made it exclusive. It's not to the point of, you know what I mean? It's not as serious. What do you like? How do you treat that situation? Like, do you base it off of the girl's expectations, or you're like, no, we're not even that serious?
I feel like naturally we just go off of society expectations.
But what would you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say. Okay, Valentine's Day is February, right? Let's say the whole cuffing season is what, like November? It's the holidays when you want to bring
we'll go
somebody.
November to
November.
January.
Okay, so let's say you did start talking to somebody in November. Maybe not early enough to bring her home, but just in the sense of you've been with her since
I think
November.
if you talk to him in November, you should do something for Valentine's Day.
You think so?
Hold on. Depends on the relationship. Are you just banging it out?
No. I don't mean like just
so-
like fuck buddies. I mean like to the point of like
We
exclusive
rocking.
and yeah, like
Yeah,
you
y'all
brought her
kick
around
it.
your friends.
Oh, you definitely,
Let's say that.
Do something.
So you think that's
But
fine?
then you listen to her. Oh, guys, just listen. You can hear what these women want. Or
Yeah.
what they
and you
want to
should
do
know what
for
the type of
Valentine's
girl
Day.
you're with too.
Yeah, for 4
real.
months. Was that 3 months?
It
You
was-
should know
yeah,
what she wants for
November.
Valentine's Day.
That's what I've learned.
If you
My
bring
fault.
him, oh no. Oh yeah, if you bring her around your friends, and it's been 3 to 4 months, bro, you're rocking with her.
You're rocking.
There may not be like a title.
that.
I don't know.
True that.
Different strokes
I've
for
just
different
always
folks.
learned, like Sumi was saying, it's guys, we can get so into like a routine and just be cool. Yeah. Girls constantly need like the switch up, and that's how you end up losing your girl if you don't keep switching. That's how them billionaires get their girls hit by like pizza men.
That's facts.
You feel me? Because
I'll agree with that.
Why is that a thing, bro?
I mean, because it's a lack of like accessibility, attention.
It's something different.
Well,
It's different.
It's something different.
I got a theory.
I thought, you're a billionaire. You're working regularly.
Yeah.
I think people think billionaires are so rich they just chill. No, they're working regularly.
You have to maintain that money.
Their life is money.
Yeah, exactly. So you're spending most of your
women
time
don't
working.
care.
Yeah, and she feels like she's being neglected. The pizza dude's right there. He got all the time in the world.
But to go off of that, like I said,
Attention goes so far.
it's something just, it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, let's go to Ibiza. Like that's something so spontaneous. But it could be like, okay, you go to work from 9 to 5, I go to work 9 to 5. But maybe like one day you come home early, or maybe like this weekend we do a staycation. Like it's something simple. It doesn't have to be, again, that's not what every girl thinks. Yeah. So obviously you have to base it.
I've learned that from like females, bro, like there's different, no pun intended, there's different types of alpha that females like. You feel me? Like there's different types of alpha. So like,
don't get a big head.
So girls, you got different type of girls and different type of personalities, of course, but say this dude makes fucking 80,000 a year and this dude makes 20,000 a year. She still might go for the 20,000 a year dude because maybe he handles himself better. Maybe his personality is better, or he takes care of things more. Or some girls go the opposite too.
Can I actually say it's not? I'm literally paraphrasing this, but exactly what you said reminds me of a quote. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a mushy like romance type person. But
here we go.
The one quote, the one quote that I saw, it was like there were these two guys. One guy gave her like $20, the other guy gave her $10, and it was like, she went for the guy who gave her $20 versus 10, but it's so funny because the guy who had $10 only had $10. The guy who had $20 had $80 in his hand. So it's like the difference of what you give for what you have.
Dope. And this is hard.
Right?
He
literally gave you his entire heart versus.
That's dope.
I gave you my last.
All right. I love the Valentine's Day topic, men and women.
I didn't even know he was gonna do it.
We weren't.
I kind of brought it in. Sneak attack.
I gotta tell y'all are in for.
We about to switch up the whole movie now.
Oh yeah, y'all are in for a great podcast.
Before we switch it up, did y'all use the Pornhub on Wednesday?
Oh my God.
I actually did. You did? I don't be knowing what premium is.
I have a
anyways.
better website for you guys.
I went there just to look at it.
Text Alpha
I did too.
details.
But if you guys didn't know, Pornhub did like a free premium night for Valentine's Day.
That's so love, though.
It's free. It's
That's
free.
so love.
I didn't
But I don't be
know
knowing
that.
what premium is not and not premium.
Yeah.
Premium's kind of cheap, bro. I don't like
I
premium.
think Pornhub is the most overrated porn website. That's like the website every like person like hold on no girls bring that up like I watch Pornhub. I'm like okay, and they'll be thinking that they're freaky for like watching porn. It's like that's the trashiest website.
It's like,
That's my thing. Whenever girls say like I watch porn or I play video games, my brain just naturally goes like, no, you don't. Like,
like
you're just trying to be cool.
Or it's just like I don't even need to know that you watch porn. What are you trying to get? Like you're not doper for that, by the way.
Through that. Yeah, you're not.
But yeah.
Girls
what
think
would be
that.
dope is if you
Video
just kind of
games
like
and porn.
stumble in and to see him watching porn.
That's
like,
dope.
That'd be like, whoa, what kind of porn you
Or
watching?
she's just like she's like, yo, pull up. You're not expecting
And she's
anything.
watching porn.
Yeah, she's just like, what do you think
I
about
just don't
this?
feel like girls watch porn for the same reason guys watch porn.
I agree. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Why do y'all
No.
watch it?
I mean, it is a way to get off. That's different from you
But
guys.
what are y'all
but it's
watching
not-
for?
Yeah, I'm watching most.
Yeah,
of
what do you
women.
guys get off to in the porn?
Because it's not the.
Yeah, what is
I
it?
honestly think you can easily like please yourself without porn. That's the difference between girls and guys. Like girls don't always
Guys do
need.
it.
Guys do that too. I got spank bank.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Not as
Hear
much
your
though. We don't
gosh.
we don't do that as much.
No,
If you lay off of porn, your spank bank gets stronger.
Girls be getting off in the showers and stuff. And we
well, they
you
just have
spank
they
bank in the
they have
shower.
more
It's
things to get
that
off with.
removable shower
remove
head.
shower to get
It's
off in the
that
shower. That's
removable
just
shower head.
take too long.
Water's
They can
not
masturbate
lubrication,
everywhere.
bro. That's like,
Yeah, I want water falling off. Yeah.
all right,
It's those hot tub jets.
Let's switch it up.
Let's switch it up.
We're going to talk about
this is a crazy
this
Yeah. We think we should do a moment of silence actually for this.
yeah, the two
explain what.
there were two officers last Saturday who were
They were killed
They
from
were-
a domestic case that they
Down
tried
the
to
street
attempt.
from my parents' crib, bro.
Yeah, it was in Driss's neighborhood.
Driss's parents,
Yeah,
like,
And a
yeah.
couple of us went to middle school with one of these officers.
Yeah, and he was a resource officer at the high school that we all went to, Montesumi. But so we just wanted to take time out to be silent, so we're gonna do that right now.
R.I.P. Officer Morelli.
All right.
And it's R.I.P. Officer Kendricks, I believe, too.
What was the other's name?
Yeah,
Kendricks, maybe?
Yeah, I wanna make sure we're gonna put something probably in the podcast saying or at the in the description.
We can give him a
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
shout out.
memory of.
So Officer Morelli, bro.
Well,
because you knew
Explain.
him.
Wait.
you
Before we get to explain the full story.
Yeah,
of
I was
what
gonna say you
happened.
should know the story.
And guys,
of-
we're in Columbus, Ohio.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is taking place. This is where we're at. I'm pretty sure it's probably
take-
news
it's-
other
But
places too.
it's in
Yeah.
Westerville, which
Here.
is one of the nicest suburbs in Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice area, but
Yeah.
basically the two cops responded to a 911 call for domestic abuse, domestic violence. It was a husband and wife that were, in a pretty serious fight, and the husband had a gun, and and I don't know the full story. Did the wife end up reporting that the cops got shot?
I think she called 911, and then I saw something to where she was like, "Oh my God, he just shot the cops."
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well,
So-
the way the neighborhood is like set up, because my parents live in that same neighborhood, it's like paper thin walls. So
Really?
I heard I guess the dude shot.
So they
the-
like right next door.
yeah,
Yeah, his parents were a couple
they're like
actual
couple.
houses down.
Yeah, it's not far. Like literally, my parents came home that same day. There are cops everywhere, and they're just like, "What
Driss and I
happened?"
called his parents like crazy because the cops were flooding. I mean, you didn't know if the shooter was
But-
loose or not.
But what happened? I guess so. The husband and the wife got into an argument, and I don't know what the argument was about or what it pertained. To be honest, this is just what I heard. This is a speculation. I'm not very sure. But the dude shot his wife, and a neighbor must have heard, called the cops, and the cops arrived on the scene to see what happened. Or no, was it the wife that called?
The wife, I think,
think
called
the
and
wife called
reported that
dispatch
her.
that
Saying the wife?
had her on
Because saying that my daughter's in the house, please save her. Then the cops came on the scene.
So the guy I mean, of course he was probably mentally ill, but
You
There
know
was
what?
not that much info.
To be honest, I don't think any information has fully released on the couple that were in the domestic violence fight. I just think it was a pretty bad fight between a husband and
fuck
wife
him.
that
I ain't
got.
trying to
Yeah, I
give
don't
him
know.
no.
Yeah.
I ain't trying
So
to
we
give him
have
no
a little
light.
bit of background. I'm more so. It sucks that these two officers had to lose their lives over it.
Yeah.
Condolences to the family. We're recording this on. Doesn't matter what. Yeah. But the Friday, February
Valentine's Day?
16th, this past Friday, the 16th, there was a memorial service and whatnot. It was good to see the city of Westerville coming together to support.
I agree.
The fallen officers.
I'm
so.
at the age now. Like I've always been that dude. Like I've never been a mass agreeer. Like some people just be like, black people, we naturally be like, fuck cops. Like I've never really been that dude. Like
It's
of course I get nervous around them. Shit. I mean it is what it is. We come from a long line of y'all niggas beating our asses and shit. But
Sure.
I've understood at a young age, like this dude is just the same dude as me. He put on the same clothes. His job was just a little bit more dangerous. So I would act shit. I mean, you kind of got to build a us versus them type of mentality if you want to survive doing that job.
But I also you have to be careful on both sides. You can't overgeneralize a population. You have to treat everything like there's people that are afraid of people of a certain color versus
this
somebody
is how
that
you solve that. For what Curtis was saying, I understand where he's coming from. They put a lot of these cops in the inner cities, particularly. They put cops there that aren't from the city. So when human nature, when you're in an environment that you're not used to,
You want
even me,
to.
bro. If I'm in an environment I'm not used to, I'm looking over my shoulder, left and right. These dudes have weapons on them, right? They're patrolling an area that could be dangerous, and they don't know the people there.
Not could be, most likely are.
All right, so when you get cops there who know the neighborhood, and they know that kid over there who's bullshitting, that, hey, Jamal, get in the house. Like, what are you doing out here? That's how you solve some
That's
of
how
that.
you solve that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
I mean,
that goes back to the mentality of black people don't want to be cops.
That's what I was saying. How do you get the people that are in the neighborhood become cops?
And then when you do get that officer that's like, oh yeah, I want to be, like your people will shit on you.
Yeah,
like,
you're
you wanna
busted
be
now.
I think that's changing a little
So
bit.
it's definitely changing.
'Cause I think people realize that, if you want police officers to treat people in the inner city.
Get your
better.
own.
You gotta
Get
be
your
there.
own.
Yeah.
You got to police your own. Now,
I feel
particularly
like that goes. My fault. I feel
Yeah.
like that goes for everything. Though.
Yeah.
Like, get your own lawyers. Get our own judges. Like, if we
the
don't like
Jewish
it,
community does that really well.
Yeah.
Speaking about these officers, that sucks. I know I didn't know him personally. Like, I know he was a resource
this
officer
dude.
at Morelli.
I remember his
Officer Morelli.
face. I definitely
Sure,
remember his
same.
face
I
once I
remember
seen
him.
him.
So these were cops that you guys remembered from
I
high
remember
school?
seeing. I never talked to him.
And you guys have friends though that whose parents like worked in the police force too, right? That
Yeah.
personally
Yeah.
know them.
They
Yeah.
knew him. So that's why
There
it's just
was
sad.
some-
When you live in a close knit community, everybody knows everybody.
And honestly, things like this don't ever happen in Westerville. You
I
know?
was about to say,
Yeah,
I think
Westerville's
what's
quiet.
most shocking to especially the families of the cops, whose lives were taken is you don't ever think like, okay, my father works in Westerville.
Yeah.
It's not like my father's in I don't know, like District 13, some like ridiculous,
You say
neighborhood.
District 13.
District 13 with the aliens.
Did I say that?
So,
That's what I was thinking in my head. But
there's no appropriate way to transition, but we got to talk about the school shooting in Florida
Yeah.
because this is all going to tie in together.
And this is the crazy
eventually.
part. That's why I was saying, bro, I didn't find out till a whole day later.
really?
The Florida thing happened.
Yeah, because
that's what happens
like,
when you don't got cable or like you're not paying attention to shit.
yeah,
You have your own life.
and even on social media, like it was. I feel like we're getting so desensitized to it.
That's scary.
Like I literally wasn't seeing nothing, and
Yeah.
then Lil Duval he posted like something about a mass shooting. I'm like, that was random.
Yeah.
But then when I got to the gym and I seen it on TV, I'm like, I seen them talking about it, but I'm like, when
Yeah.
did this happen?
I mean, it was 17
It
victims.
was really quiet. Still.
was
even though it
super
was
quiet.
like people were talking about it. It was still.
I think it
really
built up
quiet.
over because I had heard it, but I wasn't like I was like, oh, another mass shooting.
But
Which
something
is
like that
sad.
usually-
It wasn't like a
blasted
CNN
out.
update like that came
It
out
was,
in
it
our,
was.
but not like it was like a blow up. You know how every mass shooting like has always had a blow up.
Like say the
That's-
Vegas thing. Like I knew about that shit as
Yeah.
it was
Well, I think
everywhere.
we're just so used to like school shootings,
get
bro.
desensitized
There's
to
been
it, bro.
18 school shootings since the start of this year.
That's fucked.
You know
But
what
I mean,
crazy.
it's 17 victims. What was crazy is it was also like an athletic director, a coach, football coach.
Oh yeah, oh
I
man, I
think,
wish I knew
and they
this.
were shielding students.
Yeah, I wish I knew this guy's name.
They were
That's a
sh-
hero
I seen him
right there.
talking about. I seen him talking for the news station or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
hero right there, though. But go. Were you gonna say something?
What day did that happen? Was it on Valentine's Day?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like they called it like a Valentine's Day
I
massacre
think the
kind of
kid-
thing.
I don't want to shout out this kid's name.
No,
He's
I don't even.
That's probably
Yeah.
why they did
But
it too.
I wanted to speak on this because you did have a clip that
Yeah.
ties in. We'll bring that up in a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But this kid, because I said this to Sumi before, about the difference between a terrorist and somebody who's just an active shooter who's going to run amok. A terrorist is somebody who has a political motive. This kid was a terrorist because he was linked to a white national group.
Yep.
He
Oh, I
wanted,
didn't know that.
exactly.
Yep.
He had a motive behind it. He wanted to cause disruption. You know what I'm saying? Like,
got a
when
question
you got a
about that.
motive. That's
You're a
terrorism.
terrorist.
I got a question though. So it was that same day when I got back from work. It was on CNN or whatever. They said that the white nationalists or Federalists, what is it?
I forget the name
Either
of
or
it.
Blase, fuck them
in
niggas.
Florida.
They said, yeah, that's my dude. They claimed him. So
Yeah.
That's
there's
terrorism.
a lot of in
That's
America,
notoriety for them.
but in America, it's in Florida, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I get ISIS. ISIS out here when someone does something like terrorist, someone does a bomb, they're like, oh, it was us. It was us.
terrorism.
It was us. I get
Yeah,
that.
they want that.
Yeah. But in America, y'all can't just run over there and be like, all right, you claimed him, then it's on you guys.
Yeah, I mean they do that with gangs too. Like they'll
That's
just
what
like
I'm
round
saying.
up the entire gang and
No one's talking about that.
I mean, but that's kind of hard.
Do you expect them to,
do.
though?
Yeah, see, I kind of don't expect.
I'm
It's
not-
kind of
I'm-
hard to do because it's like everybody has the power of
The
choice.
reason it's hard to do is because they're allowed under the First Amendment. They're allowed to be racist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right, some-
But
If you really
to
want
me,
to change
though-
something, change the
Hold on.
fucking school
Hold on.
system.
So are you allowed to say, yo, we taught this nigga to do this? We told this
Sure.
nigga to do
But
this.
but do you know the specifics
Yeah.
of what
Yeah.
he did? He
Yes.
started the fire alarm in
Power
the
of
school,
choice.
causing the students to flee. So he started shooting at students
Yeah,
that were
no,
fleeing
I-
out. So
I'll
it wasn't
answer
so
this
he was
question.
outside shooting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I want to answer
his
this question.
location.
All right.
You said how are they allowed to
Yeah.
like? Because you're as long as you're not threatening a particular group of people
You're
or a
allowed to
person,
claim.
you're allowed to do whatever.
I mean, it's freedom of
the
speech.
The Klan is allowed to still hold
right.
meetings.
Rallies,
Like,
you're
yeah.
right.
So they're allowed to do that.
That's
They could
stupid.
teach them and they'd be like, yo, if you wanted to do this, here's how you go about it.
Yeah.
But
as long as they're
you know
not
what-
not vocally targeting something and it's not a threat, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
But I guess
Yeah,
my
and I think it's
That's-
white
it's
too.
so-
my
dumb.
question is, a lot of these shooters typically do surrender. What was crazy about the story is he did just release his weapons and run with the group of students.
Yeah, he did
so
say-
was there an intention of being caught, or was it just
he
Whoa,
wanted to get away.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So he shot them,
he
dropped his weapon,
weapon
threw it in
and
the trash, and
ran
then
into
ran.
the crowd of students? So it wasn't like a
This
suicide.
dude thought he was Jason Bourne or some
He
shit.
went to the McDonald's, then he went to the Walmart, and then was kicking it. I don't know where he got caught, but you know what the crazy thing is, people knew he was going to do this.
He posted on
He posted
YouTube
on-
or something.
Said,
like,
"Yo, this dude's going to shoot this up. I'm going to shoot
and
this
somebody
up."
reported the
Yeah.
comment. Like, I don't know how you can report a YouTube
can
comment to
report it.
FBI, right?
Yeah.
But regardless,
And
it
it's-
was brought up.
You know what's funny because
Wait, what, I'm sorry. What was the video? What?
I don't know what the video was, but the comment was him saying,
I'm gonna be a professional shooter.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot up. Pretty much saying I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Which
somebody
was cool.
reported the comment. So it's like, what do you do when
And
you
then
report
all these
those
jokes
things?
with like the FBI agents watching you, like watching your camera, like nigga,
fucking
you ain't got no
crazy.
one, you ain't doing shit on Valentine's Day. Stop playing.
crazy.
Blah, blah,
But,
blah.
that's, yeah, go ahead.
This dude say he's gonna do that, and he goes to the school so he knows the fire drills. That's what this girl was saying. That was in one of the. They interviewed her after, this girl that was in it, a student, and she was like, "Well, he was with us.
Yeah. 'Cause he pulled
went
the fire
Yeah,
alarm.
he pulled it. He knew where we were going. He knew where to go.
So he dropped his
so
weapons
he
and
had
ran
inside
into the
source.
group.
He plotted it out. Like, yo,
Right.
this is terrorism. And he
What?
was connected to a group.
That's why it's premeditated. I mean,
What kind
obviously
of gun did he have?
semi-automatic.
I think it was an
So you can
It
just
was a
drop
semi-
that bitch and.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, though,
Scurry.
like, how are they getting these? Why are they getting
So
semi-automatics?
can we
though?
kind of
Like,
transit? This is, I'm just going to lay out my gun list. I think that everyone is, I personally feel like it's okay for people to have guns. I think it's fine.
Sure.
I think the mental evaluation needs to be a
what I
lot
was
more
saying.
extensive, but
Yes.
there is no need for a semi-automatic to be legal. I don't understand.
For civilians,
I
I
think
have
for, you know, I don't know anything about guns, so I'm not somebody educated to talk about it, but why do you need that kind of gun to
don't.
protect
I'm
yourself?
like 50-50 with you. Like you don't, but it's like I should still have the option.
yeah,
As long as I'm healthy.
It's a Second Amendment.
As long as I'm
Yeah,
healthy.
look, if you want
I
to go
got a
back,
to
fucking
bear arms.
bazooka.
if you want to go back and revise the Second Amendment, that's not happening. But if we were to, when the Second
Why not?
Amendment, well, because the NRA, you have a lot of people who are paranoid people who think that
you know what it is now, though. It's too late.
Well, when the Second Amendment
too
was
late.
put together, it took fucking 20 minutes to fire off a musket when the Second Amendment was
I
written.
just,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
do-
These laws
You know
were
what? No,
created
I think
for-
that people not just okay. Let's say I don't know if the gun was registered to him. I can't imagine it was because he was a high school student. But I'm sure
he
it
was
was
19.
registered.
He was out of high school.
Oh, was he
you
out
gotta
of
be
high school?
21
He was
to
expelled.
what?
He was expelled.
So how was he in the school? Like,
You get in school. I get into it.
If you wanted to walk into Westerville,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the high
But
school,
I guess
you can
my
walk.
thing
It's
is
not
this,
that hard.
if you're a parent who was registered to the gun, even if he was, I don't think that, okay, you know, you pass your background, whatever, here's the gun. It's like, well, who lives in the household with you? How many kids are there? What age are they? Are they attending are they every day going into a setting where it's a public environment where they have the opportunity to harm anybody? Like, you know what I mean? I just don't understand how you just, you can handle a gun. You've taken your classes. Here you go. Really?
I've been to many ranges, bro. Like, and it's so easy.
That's what I was about to say. It's super easy. I've been to
Accessible.
one range, and they just took my ID. That was about it.
Yeah,
And they
that's
gave
it.
me
They
a
just
gun
hold
with
it.
live bullets. Literally, if I wanted to turn around,
And just
I could shoot
pop
everybody in there.
Yeah, you could.
Or just
If
one person. I'd be like, yo,
all you
fuck
got to
you.
do is hold it together for a solid 20 minutes, go through the process.
And Alpha, I like how.
shoot people and just walk. I mean,
like-
but them dudes is heavily trained, though.
Oh,
the
yeah,
motherfuckers
yeah.
that be in them gun
But
stores.
you at least taking one out.
But again,
Oh,
they're,
yeah.
they're heavily
All right,
trained.
Beat this. What Alpha was saying, like back in the day when the Second Amendment was made, it took 20 minutes to fucking fill up a musket.
Yeah.
My nigga, if times are changing, laws should change. The Constitution should change. That's about it.
Bashir, you're making logic. You're
I know,
making a
that's-
logical
but
point.
it's logic,
we have
bro.
lawmakers who aren't
Who aren't logical, bro. They-
well, no, they are logical, but they're just bought off. Like
Yeah, but that's
the guy from Rob Portman, who's a senator from here, who makes I think he gets $3 or $4 million from the NRA regularly.
That's Jesus.
Crazy.
Right, so why
bro.
would he doesn't have the incentive to help out? That's why I loved it when there was a 16, 17-year-old, all these kids were up there saying, yo, we need tougher gun laws.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want your fucking prayers.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of this prayer bullshit. Like, eat a dick. That's not helping
the fuck
kids.
your prayers gonna do for me?
Exactly.
that's what the
When-
kids are saying.
The kids were
kids-
I
saying-
almost don't
They
feel
were
like
interviewing
families
the
care to
students.
hear, like,
don't,
your
it's like don't
prayers-
insult,
prayers
don't
don't do
insult
shit.
these kids' intelligence by saying we need prayers. No, what y'all need to do is figure out
Make
a way
shit
to have
happen.
comprehensive gun reform so other 16 and 17-year-old kids, other high school kids aren't losing their lives.
That's crazy.
Which
Just
is-
like young kids are saying
Yeah,
that
they're
shit.
saying it.
But
man.
that's
Florida
why
too, like-
that's why I agree. Like you're right. You know, people kill people. I understand physically a gun, but unless a gun is held by an actual being, I mean, it's not going to kill somebody. I understand, like, you can't mentally evaluate everybody, but anyone who has accessibility to
you kind of can.
You can.
I mean, you can.
That's the end of the day.
Look how hard it is just to get a driver's license.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Like it should be harder.
That's
It
what
should
I'm saying.
be
How's it
harder. I was
to
gonna
get
say,
a driver's
it's-
license than a gun,
Bro, it's
Yeah.
harder for an 18-year-old kid to get it to sneak into a 21 and up bar, or
Yeah.
a 17-year-old kid to
They
sneak
get a
into a
gun.
club
Yeah.
than to get a gun.
Fucking AK-47.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
That's
anything,
so
it's
fucking crazy.
there's so many ways that you can prevent it, and I think stricter gun laws is one of those.
Right.
You're not going to stop every person who's going to, go off the deep end, but you can make things okay. Like let's say somebody goes off a deep end and they grab a knife and they start stabbing people in school. Okay, stabbing somebody, the person that's closest to you, when
You get
hundreds
one,
of students
yeah.
are fleeing away,
Get one
that's maybe
kid.
2 fatalities versus
Maybe.
Man, y'all-
17.
A quick
Versus
string off.
17.
Y'all have to watch the new Chris Rock stand up.
I want to. I'm saving that for
Oh
tomorrow.
my god, it's so
too, bro.
good.
Is it
Bro,
Sunday?
honestly,
Chill.
I think Rock's might be better than Chappelle.
Well, I like Rock more than Chappelle.
really?
I like Chappelle more than Rock.
I
but
like Rock
think
more than Chappelle.
I always
I
thought
love
Rock
Chappelle.
was corny, but this one, I'm like, oh no, he might have topped Chappelle.
Does he
Okay.
touch on these?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Rock's
Yeah,
stand-ups
major
are
way.
good.
All right, so
But yeah, back
I wanted to touch on, like, the reason I said the Westerville shooting with the police officers passing and the Florida shootings are tied together. Y'all, because I know cops versus people have their opinions of cops or whatever, but if you want to protect police officers, that dude who shot that cop probably should have been mentally
What
evaluated.
kind of gun? Did they ever
I don't know-
release?
I don't know what gun
kind of
he
gun
had.
he had.
My thing, see, I grew.
He should have. No, I mean, but he had prior domestic violence issues.
Yeah, they've been to that house
so,
before.
So there
Yeah.
you go. Like, why does he have a gun? Look at
It
the
is
Florida
very-
kid. He had.
It's very enabling, bro. Like I grew up in the hood and in the hood, bro, like that's where the most mental illness stems from.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get a gun, bro.
Oh, of
That's
course.
why, like, and they pass guns off like nothing. Like here. Like there's no
I
evaluation.
think I read something. There's 320 million people in this country. There's about 350 million guns.
That's
Guns
the thing.
outlive their owners, so they're passing them down.
Yeah, guns,
and then
yeah,
all right. So
exactly.
say somebody, it is hard to kind of track it because say somebody legally buys a gun. All right, but then he's just like, I don't need this
I'ma flip
anymore.
it.
I'm gonna flip it for $500. Give it to this dude.
You get on the arms list, bro. All you got to do, like they say, show ID, but it's just like a Craigslist. I meet up with you. You got the
Holla
bread.
at me,
I got
yeah.
the bread here.
Wow.
That's it.
But with the mental evaluation, it filters out some of those niggas, bro.
It cuts it down.
It cuts it down, and that's what it is. That's,
never
what,
gonna
that's
stop
at least what we need to do.
shootings like
But
that.
I,
Bro, this is like the set. I might be bullshitting on this number, but I heard it somewhere. 10, 17 school shootings.
No, it's 18,
18
and
and-
since this year started. You're
This
right.
year started.
Yeah,
My
since
nigga, we're
this
in
year started.
February. This is the second month.
Yeah.
So Bashir, why don't you should
Yeah, you're right
transition
about that.
transition us into the clip that you were talking about because they talk
I
about
don't have
certain.
it.
Well,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
well let's
it's-
talk about it. So
Where
it's
your
like
phone died?
No.
Oh, so
they talked about Australia had stricter gun laws after which type of mass shooting? Was it a school shooting or something?
It was-
Where-
It was
Mass
this school
shooting.
shooting. It was just mass shooting.
No, Australia.
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 Oh, he said there's only been 4 mass shootings since like 86 to 96.
And what did they do?
Because they.
Oh no, I know what you mean. I know. I don't need the clip to know.
Who said this though?
Oh, go ahead, Alpha.
Well, I don't need the clip to know.
Right,
They
but what
had-
was it?
There was
Who
a
said
really
this, though?
big. I don't know.
This guy's
it doesn't
a news
matter.
anchor. He's a news anchor. That was-
he said the shit that I knew.
He was talking shit.
All right, bro. Like there was one really big mass shooting that happened
In Australia.
and after this was in the mid 90s. After I believe in the mid 90s. Afterwards, they passed strict gun laws. They haven't had a mass shooting since. It's been 20 some years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now I will say it's a little different. We've 300 something million people. And these guns have been around for years. You're not going into people's homes and taking their guns away. And nobody's saying that. But what we are saying is when you see 17-year-old kids coming out there and saying, well, we need gun reform after they just watched some of their classmates and teachers get killed. After you see 20 elementary school kids getting gunned down, right? And you're not
Super real.
Right.
Yeah, you feel
no,
me?
that
Like,
is, but like, all right,
you're not going to do anything about it.
when
That's
he's-
why people don't trust politicians.
We're
at all.
talking about this mental evaluation stuff, right? How many people from the hood do you see doing these mass shootings? Because you said the guns are moving through the hood,
Yeah.
and it's like
But
certain numbers are ripped off.
But that's the sad part is that it's not
not.
a mass shooting as in school. They just killing each other.
Yeah.
They are
That's
killing.
the
I'm not
It's a
saying
different.
that.
It's a different type.
That's
of,
a different
That's what I'm
story.
saying, bro. It's so many.
I think their
I'm
environment
so
plays
on.
a
I'm,
huge
I'm
part.
Yeah, that's
on a,
huge.
I'm on a good. I'm on a like a so different spectrum because I got a lot of mental illness that run in my family from mom all the way down. So and there's so many different versions of mental illness. It's so hard to keep track of.
Because you have episodes and then you have long
Yeah,
term.
so
you have
some
acute.
mental illness, bro. Like we just don't know what it is.
A lot of mental illness, though, can also result into self-infliction versus I'm going to go out and harm everybody
That's what it
because that's
mostly
where
is. Well, this is
that's
what
where bullying comes in.
I think this is what needs to happen.
Yeah.
is I don't know if this is even logical or feasible, but when a kid turns 5 years old, boy, girl, don't matter. Let's mentally evaluate them. And
I
just
think
track
schools
it.
I
should
feel like
be
it
more.
needs to be done consecutively,
Yeah.
like 5.
But
Maybe
you-
another one
there's
at 15. And
Bro,
another one.
maybe
there's
every
always
5 years.
and there's
But I
always
think-
signs like every single mass shooting. There's these kids are isolated. They're weirdos. People think they're weird.
But
But,
that's
but
what's-
don't you think like schools should
yeah.
probably look further? Like you're protecting these students, right? And if you hint any sort of, I mean, and some of these students though really do have fine. You don't know about this kid. He might have had a great life. You know what I mean?
That's what I was just about to
his
say,
mental
too.
illness could have resulted being in the public. I mean, being in public. So was he bullied? Was it not his home life that's so bad, but his social life that might be impeding on his mental
100%.
illness?
I agree with Simi completely with this. I think schools should do this
I
because
think schools should.
literally, so where are all the kids going at once?
What do you mean?
School.
Oh.
Like you can't mentally evaluate everybody in this world.
No, I don't think you can.
I mean,
that's
you
why I
could,
said it's
but
not
like,
feasible.
It's gonna be
Right.
hard. So you have kids that have to go to school. Easiest way to mentally evaluate them.
Do you think that if you're going to spend as much money into educational programs, like, okay, why do we do recreational activities? Why do we do gym class?
take an
Because
OGT.
physically,
Nigga.
it's good for your body. It's healthy. Do you not think we should do a class where
So
maybe you need to talk to a counselor?
You're saying the government should allocate money towards public education.
You know what?
Well, what's hard? Yeah.
That's
The
funny.
irony is
So,
that
hold on,
it pisses me off to say, but I know what you mean. I know what you're
You're
getting
telling
at.
me that maybe the government should defund the military just a little
This
bit.
guy.
Just a little bit.
You know, when we spend more than every other country, than the next 10 countries after us combined
That's
on
word.
our military, but we won't
We got
allocate that
we got
towards.
muscle. We know
you
for
a
muscle.
troll.
Wow,
You are a
That's
troll.
what though.
You are.
But you know what? Coming from a personal
We spend a lot on the
perspective.
military.
Okay, but coming from a personal perspective, I don't ever agree that parents should always be to blame, but I do think this is where maybe you do have to understand, like, if your child, you know, when your child's being a little odd compared to most
That's what I was
kids,
just about to say.
you know,
It's hard though. It's hard.
it's
Now
hard
that
because
I'm
you can't just
thinking about
approach
it,
your kid.
It's super
But we're kind of trained to kind of ignore teenagers,
Right, but-
because they're going through such an identity crisis. We don't know
Yeah.
we don't know if it's actually mental illness or
you
it's
know
just
what's funny?
awkward.
Like when I was a teenager, I was locked in my room. My parents would be
Yeah.
like, "Yo, what are you doing in there?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm just on some shit."
And they brought you away.
or you could be
yeah.
making a bomb.
Yeah, what if I was fucking insane and was making a bomb in there? They wouldn't know. So like,
That's why I said it's
a lot
kinda
of-
hard.
There's so many
Yeah.
things
Now that
that
I'm
go
thinking,
into
it's kinda
that.
If you
hard,
could-
bro.
Think about it when you guys were all teenagers. How often were you interacting with your parents like that?
But yeah,
Never. I
This-
was in the room all the time.
How many
bro.
factors go
I'm still in my
into
room
that?
a lot.
See, I was the opposite.
I was like, get your ass out here.
I was the opposite. I wasn't allowed to have my door closed. I couldn't have privacy unless I was changing. Like, it wasn't like I was like all eyes on me 24/7, but I was the opposite. Like, I couldn't have my door locked. I couldn't have my door closed for too
That I'm
long.
That's
thinking about
funny.
this, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
I was
thinking-
really in my room
Same.
all the
I
time.
thought
I'm
about
not
it.
You know what's a good movie? And it's a really good movie because it's a reflection of raising a child and then what you can't control about a child it's called Let's Talk About Kevin.
Yep.
It's
Oh, yeah, I saw
a
that.
great
I don't think I've
movie.
seen it.
It's Tilda Swinton's in it and oh my god, I can't remember the life of
The
me the name
kid
of
who
Kevin.
was
He was in
the Justice League.
Justice
movie.
League. Yeah, he was
Yep.
Flash.
He was Flash in Justice League.
Oh, okay.
So it's a
Like
story,
Filipino or Asian or something.
something like that. But it's a story about it goes back to so. I'm not giving anything away. Well, I don't know. Maybe I will. But it's a good story because it's talking about where things in his life went wrong. And it was, John C. Reilly's in it, the guy from Step Brothers, alongside Will Ferrell. So he has a nurturing, loving household. And it's crazy because he has a younger sister who's normal. She's not deviant. She's not, like oppositional disorder, the one where you just defy everything that your parents say. But the story of it is it's not a mass shooting, it's a mass killing with a bow and arrow. and he comes into school with bow and arrow. And the story of it is he doesn't have a good relationship with his mom. And his mom notices these signs that something's off about him, but he has a great relationship with his dad. So his dad's like, no, he's a normal kid. He's a teenager. What do you mean? And at the very end of it, you know, you already know what happens, but he obviously, you know, kills all these students, and she's
with
living
a bow and arrow.
With a bow and arrow, because his dad brought him a bow and arrow for one of his birthdays, and
So
they
is it a
taught him.
crossbow?
Maybe
It's
I
a
don't.
bow and arrow. It's a bow and
Yeah,
arrow.
it's about,
String.
yeah.
What?
And his mom is just like, the story is a flashback. So she's living on her own because you don't know what's wrong with her. Like, did her husband divorce her or what's going on? At the end of it, like, you do learn, and I won't give it away.
Yeah, don't give it away. I don't even seen it
You
yet.
learn what ended up happening to her, but the story of it is she's reflecting on, where did I go wrong in my parenting? And it starts from infancy.
Yeah,
it starts from when he was a baby.
What we're gonna say
Time.
with the whole parent thing is there's so many factors that go into that, dude. Like, I'm talking about, what if the
You're raising
parent,
another human being.
what if the parent has mental illness issues?
I feel like, see,
What
that's
if-
how I grew
now
up.
let's talk
though.
about culture. My bad, I jumped off. Okay.
Oh,
But culture,
God damn,
like,
all right.
yo, like, as a Muslim, a Somali, yo, like, if your kid has something wrong with them, I've seen it happen with aunts and uncles. They like shun the kid away.
Yep.
Literally shun the kid away.
If-
And I'm like,
in
I know
India-
this kid has something wrong with him. And like, I think one of my
just
nephews
try to
have
put it in the closet.
my niece has a Down syndrome. And when I was younger, this is when I'm 10, so he's like maybe like 3 or 4. And I can see that this kid has Down syndrome. I don't know what it is yet, but I know he has something.
Yeah.
And he would just be wilding out, screaming, you know, and literally the mom would just smack him. And this is my aunt. She don't know what's going on. She didn't really take him to a doctor. He's like, there's something wrong, you know? I'm like,
That's
take him
so
to a
crazy.
doctor. And now that's just culture-wise. Like, this lady didn't even know how to take this kid to the doctor.
That's how black. That's how it
know what
is
I
in the hood, bro.
It is
Like
the hood if you do that.
We crazy is just like we overlook it.
Yeah.
Like I have like a couple crazy cousins. Like they're off, but it's just like
But,
that's
off.
just-
but there's,
That's
a,
just- that
there's,
is wild.
there's such a, if you're going to put a negative stigma on something, then you better have the actions to back it up. It's something so stupid. Oh, my child's, I mean, this was something I heard in the Indian community. My child's left-handed. That's a sign of him being gay. Are you kidding me?
that's crazy.
That's a sign
That's
of him
so
being
fucking
gay.
This is why I like
Like-
that whole school thing, because parents are going to be biased towards the kids.
Yep.
Always. You know what I mean?
Always.
So
Always.
you need someone that's unbiased, like a
A
psychologist that
school
are in the
counselor.
school.
A school counselor.
Yeah,
that's
that's-
there.
See,
But
you
you
know,
gotta pay 'em.
But you know what? Like,
No,
they're
you don't have
also-
to pay them.
They're also
the government's going
It
to
should be- it should-
no,
But
they need to be paid. That's what I'm not.
Oh, yeah, you gotta pay
They need to
teachers.
be
Yeah,
really
yeah.
be paid.
But that's where
bro.
Alpha brought in the funding
Yeah,
of
that's
public
right.
schools.
But at
You know,
the same
it's all
time,
about
like,
funding.
I feel like when it comes to foreign parents, they don't want to go out and meet. Like, they don't want to see
they
the
don't want that negative
psychologist
connotation
because
on
they
their
don't want
kid.
that
Yeah.
going back to the family
Yeah.
because then they're
They don't
labeled.
want that
You know what I'm
Don't
saying?
tell,
They're
don't tell
labeled,
the African community your child's schizophrenic. Like,
Yeah,
you can't let that
exactly.
get out.
Hey.
This kid doesn't
Exactly.
leave his house because I don't want him. I don't want him to go to Eid prayer
Yeah.
because I don't want all these Muslims to see
so
this
imagine
kid
as a
with
child,
me.
if you're
It's
not
crazy.
if you're not
crazy.
fully accepted for all your
so crazy.
flaws and all by your own family, how the hell do you think you're going to be accepted by the community?
Yeah.
Therefore, you're going to retaliate towards your community because when you're foreign, you have this utmost respect for your family. But do you have that for the community? No, because if you're bullied, rejected, neglected, whatever comes down to it, you're going to retaliate. That's where these, you know, it's some
sucks,
sort of.
though.
That's so crazy because it's so like. You see what you see because of your environment, but I see the stuff of what it is with black people, especially in the hood. But I never like for this foreign stuff. I've never seen like a handicap like Muslim or Indian.
You won't.
But you know what it is?
Like, it's so
Because-
crazy.
Because it's more self-infliction.
Yep.
It's a lot more self-infliction,
I would
think.
say
than-
it is self-infliction.
What is
My
that?
bad.
Like break that down.
Like you're going to harm yourself because you're going to find more things wrong with you than the world because you've grown up being told this is how you have to fit into society and mold yourself. So when you don't fit in, it's self-infliction. I should eliminate
You're gonna
But I'm
myself.
saying
You're
I don't
gonna
even.
cause
But I'm just saying
you
I don't see it.
Well, the reason why you don't see
It's
it,
a
to be
negative
honest-
connotation.
Yeah, it's well that and like if there is a negative like African dude or Muslim dude or Indian or Somali dude, like I guarantee you, their parents left them in the house. Or they're just there at the crib, and they won't bring them out because at the same like I have a cousin that actually has Down syndrome, and the parents just honestly they just leave him at home. I don't
This is
see this
crazy. I've
nigga. I don't
never
see him.
seen like
Bro,
any
that's
type
crazy.
of
Main thing-
handicap foreign.
Bro,
like
main thing they do, they
rare.
ship them off.
You don't know about it because it's not something that's publicized. It's not something that parents are so proud to talk about.
not.
Whereas you see other families that are like, my child has Down syndrome. I'm going to be more active into autism walks or something. Their parents like that are more if I had a child that did have some sort of disability, I would naturally be more involved in the community of disabled children because I want my child to know I don't care. I'm going to support it. I'm going to make sure that the same funding that I want that's appropriate for you is appropriate for any child. But there are some families that are like, we just don't want to accept it. We just want to think our child's just deviant.
But I don't want to make this like we're bashing like
we're not bashing it.
But for like on like to play devil's advocate, their kid like the parents that are doing this. Let's look at where they grew up. If you're a first generation kid, then they grew up in another country. And now if you're different in another country, you have Down syndrome in another country, or you're sick in another country, you're not getting the help you get in America.
Basically, you're kind of left for dead.
So yeah, you're literally left dead. Like this guy is crazy. He just has this in him.
Yeah. But you know what?
So now they're coming to America. And it's in their genes. It's literally like in their genes. So now they make a kid that has this. What do I do?
And keep it going.
But I also think it is a generational thing, regardless of culture, religion, race, because there are some times where I have personally seen my parents even struggle because they're like, I am accepting it, but my family won't, my parents won't accept it because it's a generational gap. I mean, I've heard white people talk about like, I have a best friend who she has two gay uncles in her family, now 3 because they've married, and their parents, but her parents have accepted it. Everybody in the family has accepted. They've attended the weddings. Yeah. The grandparents have accepted it, but they're not the most proud to talk about it all the time. And that's a generational thing. I think mental illness is also, my husband served in World War II and this and that. He's fine. No, he's not fine. You just think that's the norm. You think it's the norm for him to always have this PTSD. No, he doesn't need, some sort of mental evaluation. That's just the cards he was dealt with. No, he needs it.
People are shaped off of their experiences too. Like, look, when it comes to tie it back into the whole gun thing, man, like I'm not trying to make it or empathize with the kid who went and shot up all those kids in Florida. But like when you're not picking up on signs and you're not looking into this kid's background, if everybody else is saying, yo, this dude's a little off. I was watching the news and one of the students said, I had an interaction with the shooter. He asked for a water bottle asked to drink from my water bottle one time. So I handed it to him. He took a swig out of it and spit it on the floor and then started laughing. And then like this kid was like, I just took my water bottle, back and walked away. I just picture
that. It's kind of scary.
Crazy.
Yeah,
That's like the dude who cut off cat heads.
The kid took a swig from the water bottle and he spit it out onto the floor, and then handed the water bottle back to the kid, the shooter. He did that.
It has to be a maniacal.
And that's why I'm saying, like, you don't pick up. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. He's off.
Can I just, and this was something that I'm starting to get fumed off of this, to go back to the government, and I'm going to openly talk about my political views. I think what kills me with Trump is, obviously it was on not his like POTUS Twitter account, but it was on his personal account, quote unquote, like basically, someone should have reported the mental illness of this child. Someone should have reported these. Oh my God, if you find somebody mentally disturbed, I'm like, are you fucking kidding? As the president, you're going to tell me I should have reported someone that was mentally disturbed. As the president, where are the laws that you're going to enforce these children to have less accessibility to guns? Don't tell me I should report somebody. Because here's the thing. I guarantee you these kids have been reported. I guarantee you these kids have been talked about. As the president, you're going to tell me to report this to who? Because here's the thing. If I report it to you, you're going to be like, there was always that weird kid in high school.
Also, back to the whole reporting thing, like, niggas don't want to report somebody because
he was reported. What are you talking about? This nigga was reported.
Yeah. Well, even if he wasn't.
But that was the president's response.
Niggas don't want to go through that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if he wasn't reported, like, niggas, I'm not going to be the person to go report this kid.
Because you don't want to always feel like that. No, what if nothing is wrong with him and he's having it just kills me as the president to tell me, oh my God, you should have reported it. What do you mean I should have reported it?
Honestly, it was reported and it's like viral that he was reported. Yeah. That he goes out and says, someone should have reported this.
So where was the government when it was reported? When you did feel like a student who felt harmed or whatever, like where is that?
You know what?
Where's the protection?
I'm gonna definitely I think it's just 5 seconds. I think it's just, bruh, it's too many people, and the government is just this little.
So there's too many people, this is what, and I'm glad you made that point. Then you need a smaller government.
Yeah, smaller government.
Sorry, and here's the thing: the government.
I didn't mean to get riled up about it, but
that's what the Constitution kind of like pushed for. They wanted smaller governments. They wanted states. The United States, a state is an individual country, more or less, right? The federal government isn't supposed to be coming in and doing all of this shit. So when I said earlier that, maybe we should allocate money towards schools, there's people who are going to say, well, no, the federal government shouldn't be paying for that. But you know what? If the federal government's going to keep funneling money towards the Pentagon and the military, like, again, we spend, I believe it was $600 billion on our military. China spent $300 billion. Russia spent about $150 billion. Right. All right. So I think that's correct.
You know what I'm saying?
So you want to take away from Planned Parenthood and overpopulation and public
you're
schools
putting all
for
that into our military. Why do we still have troops in Germany?
You know what?
Why do we have troops in Japan?
But just to get down
World
to
War
this,
II ended 75 years ago. Move that towards mental health. They keep defunding mental health. If you want, move that towards public education.
They definitely keep defunding
What
that.
it really comes down to, I think this country is just very paranoid, very.
Yeah.
But you
very
kind of
paranoid,
gotta
like-
be, bro. Like, I when I look at stuff like that, I like to break it all the way down to the simplest fact. Okay, let's say you got a suburban house. Think about how many people have kids. Like, you got a mom and a dad can have a family of fucking 8. And two
Please
of those,
don't, 'cause that's
but
mad
but that's what
carbon
I'm saying.
getting taken
One
up,
of
I
those,
think.
it only takes one shooter. Now think about a government that has to patrol
320
300 million, bro.
Yeah. No,
Like,
it's
that's
not
kind
easy.
of that's borderline
and this
impossible.
And this isn't me saying, well, we need to take away all guns. Bro, I get why some people genuinely
I'm not down for that.
need guns to hunt. Bro,
Okay, but-
if you live in the South and your grocery store is an hour away, you gotta eat. You gotta hunt for your food.
But can
get
I
that.
ask you something? This kid, I swear, I think I remember, this kid was on medication for his mental illness. So who
But
was the
what's
gun?
medication though?
But let me ask you. No. Let me get to my point though. The point is, who was the gun registered to a parent? So did they do a household evaluation? Is there a kid that's on certain medication? Do you have a spouse that's on a medication? Do you have a family of mental illness? This kid was on some sort of medication for over a year for his mental illness, but you were able to register, maybe not a gun to him, but his father. So did you not do a mental evaluation? How many household members, when you filed your taxes, who did you file under? How many? Where is it a household file? Okay,
I hate
so
that they
those
call
kids.
antidepressants medication.
It's not.
It's not.
Food is medication. Water is medication, bro. Like,
But he was
out,
prescribed
changing your diet.
actual,
That's
right? But it's
medication.
prescribed actual medication for a mental illness. Who was the gun registered to? That's what I'm asking you. Was it his father?
that shit
If
frustrates
your
me,
kid
bro.
has mental illness, there should be a red flag on your file.
There should be.
There should be a red flag like, yo, all right, we got to go.
I agree.
Go,
Never
we gotta
thought about
go
that.
into
Look,
your shit.
when you're trying to sell a gun.
That's my point.
I never
That
thought
they
about
didn't.
that.
It's
I
not just a
agree with
mental
that.
evaluation on the person who's
It's the
registering a
family.
gun. Are you legally married? Are you living with somebody? How many
Yes.
household do you provide? Are you the
And
household
and
income? holder?
the
You know?
process
clinic,
is
the
too
clinic
easy,
that
bro.
gives them the prescription, the doctor.
Here's the thing.
Did you talk to the
Y'all
doctor?
are all making logical sense. The gun manufacturers, the NRA, they don't want it to be an easy
NRA,
hard
yeah,
process.
that's their whole
They
bro.
want it to be
NRA
as
is number
easy
one, bro.
as possible.
But at the
for these
same
kids to
time-
get
Fuck the
guns.
NRA, bro. Feel this.
It's too late.
Feel this,
Yeah.
bro.
It's too
It
late,
is
but
too late.
I don't think that
It's not
I
too
don't
late.
think stricter gun laws are going to completely shut
Yeah,
down
you
mass
gotta be
shootings.
optimistic.
I don't, but
They're
I
not.
do think they will definitely cause an immediate downturn in
Oh, yeah.
the statistics of mass
18 school
shootings.
shootings.
I agree.
I think that.
a
I
month and a
truly
half
feel
is crazy.
What can you control? You have to think about. You can't control every mental illness.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I think like we should make these gun laws because like we're looking towards the future. Like right now, I think it's too
shit is
late. Like,
getting
it's too
easier.
late. Like, but for the future, like we're not gonna have that. We're gonna have too many people.
But
Yeah,
if the
we're not
government
gonna
is
have-
thinking
can't say
about
you
Got
tax,
too many people now.
That's why you can't
Shit.
say it's too late. That's
Right,
what
that's what I'm
100% why you
saying.
can't say
All
it's too
right, I
late.
can't. All right,
That's what I'm saying.
retract
Yo.
that. I retract that.
So
because
let's
think
talk
about
to-
like tax when you think of a tax plan or when government has a policy they want to put forward, it's not to change it within the 4 years they're in presidency. They're looking at long term. This is the plan that's going to stick by. Stricter gun laws. It's
Yeah.
not going to cause, an immediate downturn in statistics for mass shootings right now this year, but it will in the long run.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking
will.
about.
That's what our parents.
Government has to plan. They can't plan for stuff a year. Like, oh, we want this to happen next year. They
No.
plan for stuff like 20 years in
But you
advance.
know what? Here's the thing. They're in it to get reelected. You're serving
course.
4
That's
terms.
they're
You're
human.
serving
That's
2
it.
as a senator. It's every 2 years you're up for reelection. They can't think 20
don't-
years
No.
down the line.
They
They
can't
don't
afford
know if they're gonna be
to.
there in two.
But the people that are discard. So my grandpa worked for the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, he retired at 74. My grandpa retired at 74. He literally worked since he was 30 something when he came to the States. And I remember like growing up as a kid, like he would write these proposals for, just the environment, and everything was like 2010. And this was like when we were, 2001. Everything was about the plan that the changes that are going to happen in 2010, 2011, 2013. And he's like, you're going to be in college then. This is when you're going to see these changes happen. It's so crazy that he's coming up with plans and laws and everything that he's working on for the EPA in 2010, 2011. That's what we're living in now. I thought that was so crazy.
But if you're running, like if you're somebody who was running in 2010 and you're in a district where the EPA isn't high on the environment isn't high on the board. It's about job, because the things that people care about the most are jobs and healthcare.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, let me say this. Didn't you also say that Donald Trump basically came in and just like destroyed everything?
Yeah, and I don't know who he appointed as like the
Scott
director
Pruitt.
of. Okay, yeah. I mean, I remember my grandpa was so and I very rarely he's somebody that just accepts the world for what it is now, because I'm almost 80 years old. Like what's happened has happened. I've seen my grandchildren, but he was severely he was pretty hurt by it, because he's like, you don't understand. Like I came to the States at 25. He got his PhD at 31, and he was like, I'm going to work for the EPA for the rest of my life.
His
whole life, he was trying to make a change.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, but bro.
That's crazy. Hold on.
They break your spirit.
Trump, or whatever that nigga, the douche
Pruitt?
Well, you guys want to know a little bit
came in
about
and
this
fucked
dude.
it up.
Well, yeah, he wrote
Because
back
he doesn't
everything.
have the environment in mind. It's not people that are truly like scientists and researchers.
Scott Pruitt is somebody who, you guys know what fracking is.
Yeah.
All right, so he was fracking in Oklahoma. Oklahoma ended up getting more earthquakes.
Because of your fracking.
You're not supposed. I don't know if you guys know this. There's not supposed to be fucking earthquakes in the middle of the country. All right, and they had, I think, 3 or 4 earthquakes.
Do that, that's how you split them tectonic plates.
Absolutely, and he's responsible for that. But he's saying, he wanted oil.
Because you know what it is the Trump administration. The Trump administration is appointing.
He's the EPA. I totally forgot.
But that's what I'm saying. The Trump administration is appointing people that are not qualified to be heads of departments. Is it Betsy DeVos or Betsy DeVos for education? Are you kidding? But these are the people.
Hey, and I'm like,
but these are the people he's appointing as heads of
department. I try to be as apolitical as possible. I
can't hold back.
People genuinely, I think people might think I'm like this left leaning dude. I'm not.
No.
I don't know enough about politics.
I'm just calling it out as I see it. This is bullshit.
That kind of goes back to what Alpha was talking about, though, like how the fact that us as the government, they try to plan for the future, but in one foul swoop, boom, everything that was planned in the future,
But we're everyday citizens that don't know enough about government, that are talking about common sense. It's not even about being part of a political party. It's common sense.
This whole time you were talking, like this whole podcast, bro, you were like, yo, you guys are logical. You guys are logical.
You guys are making.
That's all it
We're
is.
giving you credit.
They're not
giving you
thinking.
credit.
They are thinking. They know what to do.
It's a popularity
Think about
contest.
something else, bro. They want that money.
They care about
that
getting
power.
reelected. And how do they get reelected?
Being popular.
Well, no, not necessarily. Well,
and today's now age is starting to be that.
I don't know what Trump is our president.
That's
Not like
okay.
senators
Hold on. That's one outlier. Popularity does have a lot to do with it, but I'm talking about senators. I'm not talking about the president.
Okay.
The president's a popularity. Barack was a popular guy.
Yeah.
Reagan was a popular guy. Clinton was. They're all popular people. I'm talking about senators. In order for them to get reelected, representatives, in order for them to get reelected, they need money.
You need donors.
Campaign.
You need donors.
And they get the money from
Businesses.
Yeah. And so they're not thinking ahead about changing the world or changing the country for the better. They don't give a fuck. They want to get reelected.
All this stems back to what we said in the very beginning, bruh. That selfishness thing, everybody's gonna have it.
Yeah.
I'm literally,
But
nobody's time
There's
is
a difference.
Nobody's time is more valuable than mine.
I said that last week though. I'm cool with people being selfish. I'm not cool with people being greedy. These people are greedy.
Yeah.
Selfish is working on yourself, getting better, focusing on yourself.
Yeah.
Bettering yourself.
That's a guy talking from a checked ego. These motherfuckers, they like to run shit. Their ego has never been checked.
But I mean, if you even look at Obama, and Driss and I actually had this debate last night. You know, he wasn't for gay marriage when he first came into presidency, and he obviously changed his views. And Driss made a good point. Do you really think he wasn't for it, or do you think that was something that was said early on as
Had-
presidency?
I'm sorry, I don't trust anybody who really wants to run a country, though. I love Obama.
I said that.
Right.
And I've
I
said
think
that
you
before.
have to
Trust
be
anybody who
somewhat
wants to
corrupt.
run that.
You
Like
have to be
managers
somewhat
and people
corrupt.
like that.
It's not even.
You're dealing with
it's
foreign
not even-
policy
it's
and
not
these
even just-
dictators.
It's not
You
even just
can't be.
corruption, bro. You got to be an egomaniac.
Ego maggot.
Yep.
Yeah, I said maggot.
You gotta be an egomaniac
That's a
to
new
want
word
to
to
be
add.
the president of the
Yeah,
United
bro.
States.
I can't trust
Do you know how
you.
much pressure there is on that
You just
one
said
person?
Obama's cool.
And you want
just
that
said,
job?
what's
cool.
He's 120 million
He's
people.
swagging. But it's like, bro, I couldn't be in a room
Absolutely
like.
Nope.
not.
That nigga's hair went
I
red the
almost
first year.
went.
He seen some shit.
He got super old.
You
his
shouldn't
first year.
trust any politician.
But you know,
bro.
I
Like,
mean, I think that was in his way. He's living his best life now, being out of. I think he's
he cool
himself.
now.
Like he is talking about gun policy. I mean, they're always interviewing former presidents. Whenever obviously the president has to address the state. Has to address the nation, with working with the press secretary to make sure that, Mr. President, this just happened. What would you like to say? They work on his speech. But what's so interesting is when they go back and talk about the other presidents, the difference between this president and former presidents, I feel like whenever there was some sort of like 9/11, obviously Bush had to make a statement.
Yeah, but
every
he
president
brought
agreed
people
with
together with that. I don't
Right, he
care
did, and
whether you
every
like Bush or
president
not.
agreed with him. But what's so funny is when Trump makes his announcement to the nation, every president's when they go back to former presidents to ask them, Mr. President, Barack, what do you think about this or whatever? Their opinions and ideas are so different. That's what's crazy about this presidency is it's not about coming together. It's not showing that all the former presidents and the new president feel the same way.
Sometimes it take a couple eggs,
it's kinda funny.
a couple eggs, make some omelets, bro. We
you know
gotta
what
go
I-
through the bad before we get to the good,
You know what I think? I feel like
and it's gonna get worse.
when it comes to presidents,
It's gonna get worse.
they really care about the approval rating, like a lot, to the point
Yeah,
where they
I mean,
just
but that's
like,
what quotas are. Like you want your quotas to
Bro,
meet what they need to meet.
Any
when
business.
I said
Any
when I
business,
said
bro.
this is kind of why we should probably vert towards a smaller government. When you give anybody that much power, I don't care if they're a man, if they're a woman, black, white, whoever,
saint.
you give them too much power, they can abuse it. Barack
dangerous.
Obama abuses power too. We don't talk about it
It's
as
human
much.
nature.
Definitely does.
Okay, but
let's
that's
not-
Fucked up
human.
a couple things,
Yeah,
bro.
let's not bullshit. They all do.
But it's
All right,
human.
all
It's
right?
human
That's
nature.
it.
That's part of being human.
Exactly.
That's
You give
what it
somebody
is.
too much power, they
that's
can
true.
abuse
Spread that
it.
shit out, bro.
It's gonna be real hard not to abuse
I
it.
want
That's
to
why
do
I
a
did
mental
it.
evaluation on someone who doesn't abuse power because
Yeah,
it's like, what is
exactly.
wrong with you
Then
for
you're
not
gonna get
to
a mental
get?
evaluation.
it's like nigga that if a nigga
a
that
real
doesn't
question.
abuse power, that nigga's just docile.
It's like, well, no, something's wrong with you.
Hey, I got a question. Would you ever own a gun?
yes, I'm not, honestly, I want a
you?
gun.
Fuck
Would you ever
You want
what?
a gun?
Yes,
Want a
I'm
gun?
getting
I would for safety reasons. Yeah.
Alpha?
No.
Curtis?
Honestly, yeah.
Hell yeah.
You want to know my reasoning
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that?
that's somebody to go back around. Go
Honest to
ahead.
God, like when I say it's too late, the reason why I'm saying it's too late is because guns are out there. It's kind of like you open the Pandora's
And
box
we live in an open carry state.
yeah,
Yep.
and we
Yes.
open the Pandora's box to violence. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well have one as to be protected. I'm not saying like be that nigga to have it on you at all times, but I think you should have one.
But
in the house.
you know what though? When it comes to like, here's an example. Like, okay, I mean, I feel like as a couple,
Yes, but-
that might be something I'd want to talk about
See it?
as a couple. Like, okay, do you want to bring a gun into the home with our kids? Here's my thing. If we got approved for a gun right away, I would that would be a red flag to me. Another thing that would come up to me, let's say we have a teenager in the household. I cannot imagine being disconnected from my teenager's life knowing that we have a gun in the home. I might actually even ask for the gun to be out of the home during the teenage years of my child's life. Or I would at least want to talk about it. Like, listen, we have a teenager, hormones running wild. I haven't been able to connect with,
That's why-
little Timmy or whatever. Like,
You
I
gotta
want
teach them gun
to.
Are we all
safety
gonna
at a
go
very
around?
young age.
Yeah,
We're gonna
wise.
go around and explain why we
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
want. I'm gonna say this: the amount if somebody were to come in and rob my home, the amount of time if I'm being a responsible gun owner and it's in a lock, I'm not gonna be able to unlock the safe, get the gun out, and then responsibly shoot the robber.
You don't know what you're going to
will.
exactly. Well, you're
Are
not
you
going to
sure?
know.
You're not sure. That's the thing.
Right.
But
Okay.
you,
Right.
If you're getting robbed,
Adrenaline
if
is a
you're getting
motherfucker.
robbed, you don't want to wake the person up in the house. Facts or no facts?
True.
Okay.
But,
Especially nowadays because they have guns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you don't want to wake this nigga up, and your gun should be in your room.
I mean, but that's a
Yeah.
big hypothetical.
This is really-
My
You
thing is,
can't-
bro,
but you
teach
can't leave it out,
If
though.
you're gonna have a gun, you You
shouldn't.
teach everybody. Yeah, of course you shouldn't, especially around kids. But teach everybody. If you're gonna have one gun in your household, everybody in that house. I don't care if it's 20 of y'all. Everybody in that household should know gun safety to the T.
I agree. But that's what comes down to evaluating, having families involved when someone's registering for a gun.
Yeah.
That's what's not
You
happening
need to look
right
at
now.
your household.
I agree. That's a great point.
You got something else?
This is a great clip that we definitely got to throw out on our YouTube or whatever for this episode. There's this guy, and he teaches his, I want to say, I'm guessing her age, but how she looks, 6 years old.
Okay.
5 years, black.
Oh, yeah, I've
black
seen
family.
that.
She is disassembling a gun and putting it back together, shooting it. Like,
How old is she?
6 years old. Oh, it's like she's 6 years old. It's like she's super young. So she's disassembling like guns, like shooter shit.
And my thing is, it don't have.
She's talking. He's like, and what do we do when someone comes up to you? We do this. And what do we do if someone comes up? We won't let nobody better. I was like, yo,
This is definitely in
You
Florida.
don't need to
isn't
go that hard, but you need to know the
shit.
basics.
but that's crazy. It was crazy if you see this. Though.
I agree. I actually,
And I
think
love
I
it.
did
And
see
I
that.
like
because
that.
here's my thing. I'm like in between, like, and I'm gonna, if I'm with somebody and I'm married and we talk about having a gun in the house, I can be for it and against it. I'm on both sides. Like, if you don't want a gun,
Shit, you're
that's fine.
strapped
I don't
up.
want a gun. But if you
Hey,
want
like,
a
I'm
gun,
strapped
I
up.
would actually be like, I'm okay with a gun in the house. But I do want to teach our kids, okay, I want to let them
safety,
know
bro.
at a decent age where they're aware of what guns, I want to let them know, like, this is how you would use a gun. This is how you would do. I would want them to just know.
I'm sorry to cut you.
No,
off.
that's, I just
I
want them
cut
to
you
know.
off earlier. Alpha. Go ahead. Why
Well,
don't you?
I just don't want to live my life in fear. Like, I don't walk out the house thinking, oh, there's gonna be somebody who can gun me down or somebody who could.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Optimism is 95%
I understand where everybody's coming from, but I've gotten through 25, almost 26 years without even having to run into it, and I get it. You want to be safe,
Honestly,
but
yeah.
you know,
It
I
all
get
comes
it.
down to certain environments.
Yeah, but also it's your environment. If I know I'm regularly in an environment where I might have to
need to
carry a
strap
gun,
up?
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, if I'm in the inner city regularly, yeah, all right, I got a gun. If I'm in a suburban neighborhood, I'm not too worried. Now we've
real
seen
shit.
cases where shit goes awry, i.e., Westerville, but that's
That's
a
a
one-off
one of-
case.
yeah.
We can't live our lives in fear.
But
Either.
that's what
Yeah, and-
the news sells security.
Well, the news sells fear.
Guns.
Yeah,
Security.
That's why
Yeah.
security is
Sure.
still the top notch.
You know
Like,
what?
buy.
Guns
So
sell
we got,
security.
you go to my parents' house. My mom can see who's coming up to the door off of her phone,
Yeah,
off of the
doorbell
app.
shit.
Yeah,
Well,
she's
there's also
yeah.
that, but honest to God, if I could, I wouldn't even get a gun. I get a sword. Both of y'all niggas know that.
I'm done with swords.
Before y'all start joking,
No.
peep this.
No.
If
said
the
before
world-
y'all start
hold on.
joking.
If the world was back in the medieval days, we'd be straight. 100%. Y'all just got to be whoever's the toughest, strongest,
Just for
fastest.
not getting a sword in the house.
You definitely getting katana, bro. Peep this.
That's what- yes.
Wait,
No.
100%. You getting a katana.
No.
I would have a gun.
I put an ultimatum. No, there's no
Alright.
sword.
I would want to
I
go
think I'm
back
gonna
in
take-
that time.
Well, I'm gonna take
I'm the
Sumi's-
only nigga
hold on,
with
hold
it.
All right,
Y'all can just play around with your
shitty
knives.
transition. Shitty transition.
Hold on. What was Sumi saying? I'm gonna jump in. Let me get my opinion.
Go
in there,
ahead.
too.
This will be the last one on this topic,
Having a
though.
gun is on her, and if she wants it or not. If she doesn't want it, I get it. We ain't gonna do it. But if she wants it, that means, or if I want it and she's okay with it, we're gonna go through some classes. I'm
Yeah.
talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
I'm talking. I think
That's one
everyone that
thing.
should get a gun
My girl
has to
gotta
go
know
through,
how to work with that, too.
If you get a
No,
gun,
I will. I honestly will. If a gun is going to be brought into my
You're
home,
going-
I will do all the classes.
You gotta go
I will
through
do.
a 5-month class of. I want you to know how to hold this gun like
I
this.
want
without
to.
looking.
I want to. That's what I'm saying. Whether I'm against it or for it or whatever, if it is in my home and it's going to be in my home, I want to take
Because
all the classes.
The best
I want to
shooters-
know.
The best shooters, the gun is like another arm for them. That's
Yeah,
what it is. You
that
know what I
is
mean? It's
true.
like it's attached.
Just like any weapon.
So say we talk about this robbing scenario. I'm sleeping. My wife's sleeping right here. Someone's robbing us. Hey, go check that. Grab my gun. You know, I'm not gonna kill this dude. That's the problem. We don't have to kill all these robbers. But if I'm
They
trained,
got laws set for that.
no, if I'm trained
Can't
enough,
shoot him in the back.
if I'm trained, I can shoot him in the leg right if I'm looking face to face. And
Wait,
guess
you
what?
can't shoot him in the back,
No, because
That was a good question.
they didn't pose you any harm.
but they're
You
breaking
can
into
go
your
to
house.
jail.
Doesn't-
You can go to jail.
Well,
So
you could-
if
well,
somebody
that's why I
breaks
got
into
a
your
law.
house,
See, but then
That's so
stupid.
iffy,
Yo,
bro.
if somebody
My nigga,
breaks
you
into
could
your
sit-
house, he got your TV, and he's running away,
You
can't
shoot him in the
shoot
leg. You can't shoot him in the leg.
You
See,
can shoot him in the leg.
Can you shoot him in
I
the leg?
think But I think they got a parameter thing now to where
No,
like
I feel
if
like
it's
you
too
can.
Because
That's
niggas
it.
aren't even that good at
That's the
shots. And
problem,
realistically,
bro.
what happened? Like, I
Nah,
don't
you
even know.
go
We're gonna
buck.
end this. We're gonna end this. We're gonna end this conversation because this is like,
Yeah, that's
this would
gonna
have
get
started
deep.
up a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I'm saying
okay
like
with
in
that.
that
Not even
scenario,
thinking
hold on, but
about
in that scenario, if you're a trained shooter, if you not trained, but if you have a gun and you train for 6 months,
Yeah.
if you went through all these classes, you know
Yeah,
how to
you're
shoot.
neutralizing.
You know how to shoot a nigga in
Yeah,
the
it's
leg.
neutralizing. You're
That's
not
it.
going for fatal.
Yeah.
All right.
So why?
But let's. I think we should wrap up this topic because I really
because
do
this
think
is
we
gonna
can
get
go on and
forever.
on.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get into fishbowls a little bit. I wanted to talk about the Drake video. Let's end on a little bit of a positive.
that's
Some positivity.
Yeah,
Thank
like,
God.
this is-
You guys, hopefully you guys all
I've
watched
seen
it
it.
because
Okay.
it is a
Yeah.
very uplifting
How did
music
you like
video.
What I like about Drake, and it was kind of corny too, but I love
But
this
I
idea.
like that,
I love
though.
this idea that he has. So he after he posted his God Plan video, he posted a Instagram story where it's like, I hate all these challenges.
Yeah, I
right?
saw that.
And it was just words. There was nothing, no face, no nothing.
Still
He goes,
made a challenge.
Yeah, that's what he said. But he said
did. He
said,
admitted
I
to
hate all these challenges. I think they're corny, but I'm gonna do this challenge. And the challenge is just be good. Just do something nice for someone.
But that's
right?
like, bro,
It is
that's
corny.
so cliche.
But you know
and it's
what
kinda
though?
like-
He has such a good public persona that I appreciate. He is the
that
one
was
person.
an ego boost to me.
But you know what?
That's what I was
He
gonna
gets
talk
made
about.
fun
Hold
of
on.
so much. And you know what? He rides on it. He will make fun of himself
All
till
right,
then.
so
sometime.
the
To where it's corny to make fun of him.
All right,
now.
so, so the God's Plan video
So he beat you at
is
your own game.
Drake going around Miami.
I had a real big gripe with that too. I don't
was-
like shit like that.
Hold on, you don't like him going to the grocery store and buying.
That's
everyone
fine.
food?
But when he was walking around and like going to these handicapped kids and people that's impoverished and just giving them a handful of cash,
That's
I don't
the
like
thing.
that
All right.
shit.
Okay, hold on.
Why?
See, this
like-
is,
Well,
this
no,
is-
I want to. Why?
I know why he doesn't like it. You know why he doesn't
Well,
like it.
I don't.
And
That's
he's
why I'm
showing it
asking
off.
the question.
Because that doesn't help.
That doesn't help.
Okay.
Like far as like say we can go back to the Jordan
elaborate.
Peterson thing, like bro, like you can have a person that comes from nothing. If you give him $1 billion, he's still broke. Like everything starts from how you're raised, how you're taught, learning. That's why I say like I don't want. Of course, if I hit the lottery, I'm happy. I don't want to hit the lottery. I want to know how to get my stuff. Okay. You feel me? I want to learn how to get my money. You just going around to the hood and handing somebody a butt full of cash, you can end up killing them doing that.
Hold on. Okay. I get what you're saying. And it makes sense.
But of course, I get it to where it's like, oh yeah,
No.
I gave him that.
No.
that's so-
Fuck the
I don't like shit like that.
Fuck the
though.
shit. Because the aw shit is for the video, and it was the
Take them niggas to a
beautiful.
credit and pay for all their teachings. Then I'm like, all right, that's fire.
First of all, Drake ain't got that all that time. All right,
But that's what I'm
second
saying.
of
It's
all-
an ego
Hold
boost.
on,
You can
hold
hand
on.
somebody and just be like, I'm a good person, right?
Yeah,
I give
but
a
it's
homeless
a nice
person
thing.
$100.
He has the
And
money to do.
I was
Hold on.
asked-
Hold on. Let me talk to this dude real quick.
Yeah.
Let me talk to this dude real quick. Beep this.
All right.
Yeah, it's an ego boost, and it looks superficial on video. You know what I mean? But
It's
the
not.
thing is,
It's not about a
but,
video.
like-
It's superficial. Period.
I get that, but you don't know what the guy's talking about. You weren't there when he was doing this, so you don't know if it's literally just a 10-second clip of him going here.
Of course, I can only go off of what they're portraying to me.
But you don't see him maybe sitting there 20 minutes. So what's going on?
Then show
And
that.
doing this.
Show that. Then
You don't need to show that.
what? But then
I mean,
you just
you could-
catering
you could
again
show
to
that.
your
You could
ego.
show that.
And
I
if
bet
he-
you though, if
he
he
doesn't
showed
have
that,
time.
you wouldn't think anything
Yo,
different
I
of
bet
it.
you
To
would
be
think more.
honest, you wouldn't think anything differently if he showed it. I think he could have showed it if he
In
really
the
wanted
video,
to.
though,
But
he was talking to the families, though. Just to be
He
fair,
was
he
legit
was.
I mean,
talking.
that's all right. I like the way. Let's say like the way. My favorite publicity stunt, if you want to call it like the way they did that, was when 2 Chainz opened up the trap house, the pink trap house. It wasn't about like he had clinics and stuff set up, and it was switching every month. He turned it into a clinic. He turned it into an art show. He turned it into a music festival. I like shit like that because you got to come in there and create your own. I'm not just giving you shit.
can I ask you something though? Do you not really think that these people do all
It's
of that?
all for publicity.
Okay,
They're
no.
famous. I
But
understand
to be
that.
honest, I can guarantee you that Drake probably does enough of it where he doesn't have to televise it.
Oh, of course. Oh, I definitely
So the
know
fact
that.
that he televised it was an ego boost, but
you-
I think
I'm
he
not
does
mad
enough.
at Drake. I'm not mad at Drake. I'm mad at that message because then people get behind that, like, oh my God, that's such a great thing to do. I wish I should start doing that.
because
Or,
before,
You know what?
before
I-
the Drake shit,
And you kinda
before-
fuck it up.
Nah, before the Drake shit, niggas were doing this on IG, and that's what I agree with you because I hate that. I hate
Yeah. I
seeing
was just about to
you
make that
running
point.
up to a homeless person. Here, you saw what I
yeah,
did.
bro.
I hate that.
Game did that.
I hate
Game
that.
But I
did
think
that.
the message-
Well,
I didn't like that
it's
shit,
insincere.
bro.
It's insincere.
It's
like
insincere shit.
if I give a homeless person $10, I will say this. I've talked about this before. Actually, I don't give money to homeless people when I'm with people.
No,
Okay.
yeah,
because that looks like you're just doing it to impress your friends, or to, like if you want to give a homeless man $10,
That don't really. I'm kind of on opposite of that. If
Me
I
too,
really
I'm gonna
feel
say
it,
that.
if I really
Because
feel it, I'll give it
definitely
to him.
not.
Let's wrap this up though, because
yeah,
so
sure.
what are
Yeah.
thoughts on the Drake video?
Okay,
I
well,
liked it. Though.
I think through all the negativity, I think it's okay to have a positive
Well, can I ask
message.
a
I like
I
it.
think
I
so.
like
question.
it.
Well, one
Yeah.
quick question.
I like
So
it.
when he put up the amount that he spent on the video, you guys didn't like
I
that.
didn't like that.
I
I
didn't
don't
like
like
that.
that.
How much
No,
was
I
it?
like that.
How much
he
was
said,
it?
He said he spent around over 900,000.
It's good and bad because it could be inspirational to others.
Yeah.
But
I'm just asking
I don't
questions.
like
It's still
Okay.
for your ego.
I don't like the numbers. Don't tell me numbers.
like
I like the video because you can
I really
see
liked
the emotion on these people's faces. He's like jumped in a family picture.
When the wife turned back and
I was
she
thinking
didn't know
about
she
how
was
they're
behind
like
him.
recording this, and I'm thinking, so people are walking around with some really nice cameras. They're probably like, "Hey, your family, we want to get you on like a B-roll or whatever." He's like, "Okay, we're just gonna. You guys look so cute. Stay like that." And then Drake sat down.
Yeah.
The wife
That's
looked
dope.
back.
And then she went crazy.
Yeah, that's fire.
That
I like that.
And,
That's
and the
fine.
handicap
I
girl,
love
the
that.
handicap girl seeing Drake. She's first of all, she's young, so Drake is like an art,
God.
like a top,
That's
a
like
god
God.
to her.
Yeah.
God's plan. But like, like her face, how happy. It wasn't even the money. He didn't even have the money yet. He didn't even show the money yet. It was just how like just seeing him.
That's what I'm saying. I think
that
it was
was
just him
dope.
televising happiness that stuck to me. I don't
Yeah.
care that he gave
It's not the
actual
money.
money, like dollar
Yeah, it's
amounts
not
out.
the money.
It was
I
all
understand
about
that.
just the glowing of these. Like these people, you could tell have probably never seen anything
Yeah.
that exciting in their lives.
When he was talking, when he went to the dude who's like, "Yo, you got to take care of your mom because that's your mom's your mom," and he
that
starts
touched me.
crying and she's crying. That's what I thought
hard.
was dope.
That was
about
yeah,
it.
that was
I really
super
love
dope
that.
one.
So, but
The grocery store one's dope too.
Yeah, he's like,
think
yeah,
about
whatever
going
you
to a
want.
grocery store, like, and some people in that grocery store probably were like,
On the last
I
dollar.
got this, I got to feed these kids. Out of nowhere, Dre comes in like, I got y'all. Don't worry.
dope.
That's super.
They had
I
a
got
little
you.
thing on there that was saying like, look at the chick who already paid. She probably salty as fuck. Soon as she
But
got paid, she like, nah, this
I
nigga
think
wanna
though,
show
Curtis,
up.
I agree with you 100%. I think sometimes when you do see these celebrities like televising everything,
Yeah.
it does feel like a little bullshit. But it's a nice breath of fresh air when you see all these
Yeah.
music videos with thongs and asses in your face.
Ain't no
Once in a
wrong with that.
I love
while.
seeing positivity. I love seeing
There
positivity. though.
isn't. But sometimes it's nice to
messages.
spread that positive
Yeah.
message.
So,
Just like
let's all go around. Did you like?
I liked it. I thought
I
it was
like
good.
it.
I
I
thought
like
it
You
was
know
fine.
what? I think, especially when it comes down to the numbers, you said he spent like $900,000 on this.
Over that.
Yeah, I think especially when you see someone throwing around that much money, you want to know how much he gave out.
Okay.
Yes, true.
Yeah, you know,
That's
it's a
100%
numbers
true
game,
too.
so you're
So,
just
that
like-
number is
That's
cool.
like the end of a movie when they just clip it and you don't know what happened to the characters.
Yeah.
You're like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
like Inception. Like
That's
that shit
the
kept
worst.
spinning. Like, yeah, my nigga, why is that shit still spinning? What's going
No,
on?
I think we can agree it was a positive message. I think we're all going to
I'm with
agree to
that.
disagree
Yep.
that there is a certain way to go about giving
I
back
like
to
that
the
If you just keep it
community.
on the
Video, that
optimism, like it's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad he did it.
Honestly, if we
I
talk
am
about,
glad
let's
he
talk
did
about
it.
his brand. It is great marketing.
Oh yeah,
He
that
does.
motherfucker's a
But we need
genius.
to move
Let's go
on
to
though
this
because we
fish.
do
All right,
have to
let's
wrap this up. So,
Fish bowls.
so we're gonna do
Fish
three.
bowl
We're gonna do three
topics.
topics an episode.
So Curtis who's next? Alpha's next, and then Sumi.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll be
No.
after Sumi because Sumi wrote a lot of these shits. Fuck it.
We have good ones. We have new ones.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever had a cramp during sex?
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh,
Yeah, I
and
got a
where?
Charlie horse.
Okay.
Charlie horse.
Okay,
I
where?
got a Charlie horse.
Charlie horse.
Well, what's? I mean,
Charlie horse is the yeah.
It can be in your foot.
Okay,
Yeah, it can be in your foot
That's
wherever.
exactly what it
Mine's-
is.
I've had that.
So what do you do? Because I think we've all had. What do you do in that situation?
Well, it's happened twice. Once I powered through. The
Yep,
other time I was
yep.
like, yo, I need to stretch.
I can feel it though. Like, I can feel it coming.
I mean, it's like
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't ever
So
feel
I
it
just kinda
coming.
just stretch
I
it.
don't. I'm
My
always
shit
like.
never just comes like that. It just
No.
never comes that fast. I can
have you
feel
ever
it building up.
had cramps in your toes?
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, when
That's
you,
the
like,
worst.
bend-
When it's like all
And
the
they just
way.
go
And
like
they
this.
They can't come back up. They're
Yeah.
like, I'm like, yo, come on.
So do you usually power through or this was
It's only
mine by
happened
the way.
twice, so.
Just saying.
Well, all right. What cramp do you have?
Charlie
fuck the
horses.
guys. Guys are cool. Like,
How do girls get a Charlie horse though?
You
guys-
can't. I mean, certain ways you move, or I mean, you're not staying still.
Is it like
I
when
would
you
hope
guys-
not.
If we're usually the guys in a position to where it's like
We gotta
constant,
show
so something can lock up. If a girl
So
is
you
just
like
kind
to
of
bang dead
relaxing,
fishes
Why you gotta
because
say
you
that?
can get plenty of Charlie
I
horses.
had to think about this. Like,
Because no, you can get plenty of Charlie horses,
Yeah.
and it's
If
all
she on
about
top,
time.
Is she on top? She getting Charlie horse?
You don't even have to be on
in
it.
what? She not
Do you
using
not?
her
Okay,
legs.
but
You
when
put her
you
legs
move,
up. You put her legs up. You move her legs like this.
yeah. Do you not change positions when they're
You
a
stretch that
certain
leg
way?
hard enough.
She gotta move her leg though for it to lock up. If
Yeah,
you
but it
moving
does still lock up. That's what I'm saying. It still
All
happens.
right. Anyways, next question. We are
Oh shit, yeah.
I'm just saying, dead fish.
Oh,
Dead
actually-
fish.
Oh, all right.
Go fish.
Oh, that might be the one.
What is the one? Oh
That might
shit!
be
I gotta open this
D1.
up.
Is that the one?
Which one of us would be the first to die in a horror film and why?
Oh, let me think about that.
Alpha, and I'm gonna say why. I'm gonna say why.
last.
No, let me say why.
I'm last. I'm not gonna be
I
in
thought of Alpha immediately because he would be the first to run his mouth.
Yeah, he'd be like, I don't care what this killer thinks. Like, he can fuck him.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he'd be behind your ass. Like,
That's
okay.
what I'm saying. Alpha's gonna be the one that's like not the believer throughout the whole movie.
Nope.
That's how
That's
I
not a good
feel.
one.
All right, so who's the last?
You
one?
seen Alpha when he was scared? Hold
Yes,
on,
I was
before.
there.
You seen Alpha? What did Alpha do? Alpha will stay alive.
Yeah, true,
Hold on,
true.
Alpha's gonna stay alive.
I think I'm
So-
gonna stay
No,
alive
can I
too.
say something?
You saw he did.
Can I say
think he
something?
would.
That was
I would, yeah,
Mallory.
some
I have the
preventative
video
measures.
on my phone, by the way, and I would love to put it on YouTube because I was there that night.
down the
Alpha
video.
literally
Break
slept
down
on
the
the
video.
floor with
Break down the
Bashir.
video. What happened?
Okay, so we went back to my old apartment, and it was when I wasn't living with Cassie, and Mallory was blackout drunk, and it was me, Bashir, Alpha, and Driss at my place.
love hearing
Mallory
stories
was
about Alpha.
so drunk, and me and Mallory were talking about it'd be so funny to just like act stupid, and she goes, "What if I put my hair in front of my face like the whole ring thing?" And I'm like, "Go for it." So Alpha was laying on the couch, drunk as fuck, and Mallory did one of those like Alpha, like with the hair in her face, screaming like a girl, screaming to the point where this is how
Alpha
we
was
slept. Yeah,
screaming?
yeah. So let me finish. And I mean, you heard Bashir like the Satan's got her. Oh my lord, the Satan's got her. Like it was crazy because Mallory did it for a while. So this is how we ended up going to bed. I mean, Alpha was supposed to sleep on the couch in the living room. I had a small like garden style apartment then. Bashir and Mallory, I was like, go sleep in Danny's room. She's a big bed. Just go sleep.
Hold on.
Alpha
That doesn't
was so
sound good.
scared.
Me and Mallory didn't go sleep together. Mallory fell asleep in the bed.
She fell asleep in the bed, and
I went there because it was a nice bed.
It was a nice bed. Danny has a nice bed. So Alpha was so terrified to sleep in the living room. Obviously, he didn't want to sleep in my room with Driss and I, so he slept on the ground in the same room with Mallory. And
I'm laying
actually,
there with
instead of our
Mallory,
luxurious
right? And I'm like,
couch.
yo,
right.
I'm definitely got to sleep with somebody.
But I agree.
I don't care.
Alpha
you scared the fuck out of me.
Alpha may get out of it, but I think Alpha would be that guy in the whole
would've
scary
talked
movie.
up.
It's like I'm doubting it. Like I'm a doubter. I'm a
he's a
hater.
doubt- yeah, he would be a doubter.
And that's the guy who died
Question
first.
is, so who would be your last then? Who you think will stay alive last then?
I'm lasting.
I would say that Curtis could last a while, but I think Curtis would be like the last one fighting and then take a bullet for somebody. I think between Driss
Take a
and
bullet for
Bashir, one of you two would last.
Yeah, you probably would.
Why you say
One
that?
of you two would, because I would die of a heart attack. I wouldn't even get killed. I would die of a heart
You know
attack.
what's funny?
I wouldn't even get stabbed.
In a weird way, I don't know if I would want to be last because I'm like I would want
You watch
bro,
everybody die.
Bro, just get it over with, bro. Like if you
I want to live. I want to live.
I'm not gonna lie. If I'm the
get
last
over it.
person alive, I'll probably die trying to avenge all my niggas and be like, hey.
But that's what I'm saying. I think Bashir, because I think Curtis would die trying to save somebody. I think Alpha would die out of pure ignorance. I think I would die. I would die after natural cause, like a heart attack, peeing myself to death. I don't know what, something.
can't pee yourself to death.
I don't know. Dehydrate myself.
Next one.
That was good. That was good.
That was good. That was a good one.
No, you wrote half of these.
Fine.
I'm scared I'm gonna get Chris's, man. I'm scared.
Who's Chris's?
Chris John.
Oh, Chris. Oh.
You have to talk.
All right, that's stupid.
What? Let me see.
No, I
Let
don't
me
like
just read
dumb
it.
ones. We
I
had
don't
a
know
dumb
whose
one
that
last
is.
week.
I ain't even gonna read it out loud.
I don't even know
Who's
whose
it?
it is.
You can read out loud.
Hairy pussy.
That's not mine.
That's a stupid one too.
Yo, girls be. I keep reading. Girls be getting my pubes in their teeth sometimes when they suck me up.
How hairy you keep your shit, man?
I don't keep it hairy, but it's like, yo, they be going deep on that bitch.
I don't think we needed to know that.
I mean, it was a topic.
All right, here's a good one. Here's a good one. What superpower would you have and why?
Teleport.
I knew you were
shit.
gonna say that. You've been saying that for years.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah,
I'll teleport.
I'm
Don't
down.
tell me
I
what
think
to do.
teleport because I hate the physical act of traveling, whether it's
Hell yeah.
driving or walking somewhere or.
I think
I
I
want
would.
world hunger.
That's a superpower. So you just be
That's
like
who I sound like. Never mind, y'all
Oprah.
missed
Sound like
out.
Oprah.
Look under your chairs. You get a steak, and you get a steak, and you get a
I
steak.
was mad you said that.
That's what I'm saying. Or that's how
You sound like a fucking Superman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what they always say. If you can have one super, I would just feed everybody.
Captain Planet
want
ass
everyone
nigga.
You know what? This is kind of a really
That'd be a dope shirt, a Captain
really
Planet
stupid
shirt.
one,
That'd
but
be fucking fire.
I would let everybody.
all the
Anytime I
colors?
send somebody feeling stress, I just want them to have an orgasm right then and there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no,
Have the
because
power to
No.
give somebody an orgasm?
just like touching them or
No
looking at them.
way. So
Could
you'd
you
be like a
imagine?
healer. You'd be like a healer.
Like a healer. It's like you're
wanna-
so
I
strong.
think I would abuse that power.
I got it.
All right. Yeah, we got.
I'll
I'm
go
sorry.
super strength.
Okay.
Super strength?
Super strength.
Super strength. Just thinking about it, bro. Stop being lazy. You asked you teleporting. Teleporting is dope. Flying would be super dope.
I ain't gonna lie, I would turn into a fat fuck if I could teleport.
Flying was
Teleport.
You know
You
what?
can teleport to the gym.
Mine would be time
Yeah,
travel.
but the thing
I'm
is,
not going to the gym, nigga.
the
I'm
thing
going
is,
to
if
the
you have
beach.
super strength, you don't have to
sneaking
do
in
nothing.
banks.
Mine would be time travel, bro.
That's not a superpower, bro.
That
That's
is
a
a
machine.
superpower,
That's a
bro.
machine.
You
That's
know,
not a
Superpower is anything supernatural.
I heard something that time. We won't talk about this. Hold on.
That's a machine.
Real quick.
That's a machine.
That's a
what I said.
machine.
Hey, let Alpha
that's a
finish.
power.
Let Alpha finish.
Real quick, I heard some where you can't time travel to the past. That's impossible. But there is some shit to where you can manipulate the future. And
Butterfly effect.
Now this is there you go.
Where
now
they
this
flap
is
their-
Not when they
we're
fly.
years away from this happening.
That's like a theory, though. Like,
yeah. All right, but let's wrap because we got places to go. It's Saturday.
yeah. But thank y'all for coming out. Curtis,
This was a deep episode.
This
Yeah.
video will be up on YouTube. Let's
Shout out
recap
to
again.
them. We are the social critics.
Yes.
Now.
So Sundays, we will make that an event
Yep.
in the near future.
yeah, we'll do that.
We need your critique.
Yeah, we definitely need your. Yeah, exactly.
critique
Critique us.
us.
Yep.
Send us some emails. Send us some
Some
feedback.
nudes.
Yep.
Send
Where-
nudes.
Hey, where we all
Send
on? We're on
nudes.
YouTube.
We're on YouTube and
We're on
Instagram.
Instagram. We're
I
about to
would-
be on Twitter.
We are on Twitter, but
Send
we're
nudes.
still under. We're still out.
We gonna get a hang of
I'm
that.
gonna get a hang on the Twitter.
Yeah,
Let me get a hang on the Twitter.
Just follow our personal
Follow our
pages
accounts.
and then we'll get you all the
And we
information.
going a little bit harder, guys. So you're gonna see a lot more of our faces.
Yep.
And I know this podcast today was a little heavy, but it needed to be talked about because this shit is going
People
on.
need to hear this stuff, bro.
Yeah. So, Curtis, end this.
Oh, dude.
I was like
I
perfect
appreciate
timing.
it. I appreciate all y'all. Y'all have a good week. And let's keep rocking.
Rest in peace, Morelli.
Love you.
Rest in peace,
Love you.
Morelli.
RP Miss or Officer Morelli.